First prize in the Glenswilly Development Draw is €25,000. Second prize is €10,000 and third prize €5,000, where there's 10 prizes of €1,000 each. Tickets priced €25 are available at glenswilly50kcashdraw.ie from any club member or from County Dry Cleaners in Letterkenny. The draw is on Saturday, the 4th of January. This ad is sponsored by County Dry Cleaners, offering a collection and delivery service with special rates for Airbnbs and guest houses.
What's going on?
That's like the third or fourth Garda car that sped up the village. Something is up.
Ballyglasane, new drama series every Wednesday night at 8 on Highland Radio.
The Naughty Alarm Clock.
The Naughty Alarm Clock.
Highland Radio.
Gregory, I would say you're a man who just loves his... He just loves his Brussels sprouts.
No, I wouldn't eat them.
You do?
I'll eat them fried, butter, bacon, onion.
Put a wee bit of bacon in them and a bit of butter over them.
Do you know what? I'd eat anything. I'm quite hungry this morning.
Are you? You're on the coffee
I don't
as well?
mind them, but
They are bigger this year. A good season for the sprouts. It's in the papers. Madonna's in the pictures as well. See the paper?
Very controversial.
Yeah.
Funny, about that. I mean, you've seen the pictures, right? You can't tell the difference between it. And there's a more serious element to that, and we're going to be talking about that later on in the show today.
Very good.
But you can just see when you look at the pictures how authentic they look.
Yeah, but she would have had to pose in a certain way to get that fitted in.
No. Artificial intelligence will literally create.
It'll move your shape of your body into intertwine and
create whatever you want it to create.
That's very dangerous, isn't it?
Unbelievable, because it's blurring the lines between facts and.
But even for serious criminal things, there's the picture. That's him taking that.
It is
or her.
Yeah. Well, we got a call from a lady or contact from a lady last week whose younger daughter was compromised by this. Right. So we wanted to find out what the legal implications of it and all are. Right. So if you can imagine, they can create this image of Madonna embracing the Pope. Well, you can do absolutely anything. Right.
Yeah.
So there's very little to govern it or rule it. So whilst it might be fun.
Yeah, thinking there's
how she's just trying to be controversial, right?
Yeah.
Like she was in the past, like a prayer video and all that.
That's right, 30 years ago.
Anyway. So that's that.
Yeah, good and good jumper as well. I'll let you go because Newsies.
Yeah, okay.
€1,000.
€1,000
away. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're going to Nazareth
We could
House.
chat for longer, but we can't.
Don't have time.
Right, love you.
Bye, Gooch. Love you too, sunshine. All right, it is the 9 till noon show. It is just approaching 9:01. Let's get a news update. And it's over to the lovely Donna Marie Doherty. Good morning, Donna Marie.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. Calls have been heard to see surveys for sites being bought for social housing to be done in advance. A Letterkenny councillor fears that ambitious housing targets may not be reached because of delays in getting site investigations completed. Councillor Donald Coyle was speaking after members were told that plans are progressing for the construction of a flagship project at High Street and at Ballymacool, but a number of surveys and investigations need to be complete before the work starts.
I do believe that some of the work could be done beforehand, in relation to the sites looked at, that investigations could be carried out, and in particular, and access and all of that, which can be done by the council staff in relation to roads and that, and also surveys that can be carried out beforehand, before the actual site is bought.
We're being told it's still not too late to protect ourselves from flu ahead of Christmas. Over 4,000 people were hospitalised because of flu in the last flu season, and the next one is set to peak in the coming weeks. The Irish Pharmacy Union says parents in particular should avail of the free nasal spray vaccine for their children. The IPU president, Donegal-based Tom Murray, says more people who get the vaccine, the better the virus will be contained.
Unfortunately, 214 people died from flu last year, and flu is eminently avoidable by receiving the vaccine. It's not just about protecting yourself, it's actually the herd immunity, about protecting the public and those who may be at risk around you, because by you being protected against flu, you also protect against the spread of flu to other more vulnerable people.
Police in the north are still questioning two men on suspicion of murdering a woman in County Down. 40-year-old Karen Cummings was found with a serious head injury in a house on Banbridge on Saturday evening and was pronounced dead at the scene. The mother of two worked as a nurse in Daisy Hill Hospital in Newry. A 42-year-old man was arrested at the scene while a man in his 30s was taken into custody yesterday. 29 premises in Buncrana are set to remain without power for a total of 19 and a half hours. The fault was reported last evening at 7:25 and is estimated to be fixed at 3 o'clock this afternoon. ESB has apologised for the outage and says crews are working as quickly as possible to see electricity restored. Looking now to weather, a mix of sunny spells and scattered showers today, highest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees. Winds will be strong at times near the west and north coasts. That's all for now from Highland Radio News. Back with more at 10 o'clock.
It's not just that Sammy has had his world torn apart by the conflict. It's not just that he has lost everyone that he ever loved. And it's not just that Sammy is only 7 years old. Right now, children are being forced to live through unimaginable horrors in Gaza and around the world. And it's not just. This Christmas, your help could make all the difference. Visit Trócaire.org or call 1-800-408-408. Trócaire. Together for a just world.
And now, it's time for the talk of the Northwest, the 9 to Noon Show with Greg Hughes on Highland Radio.
Hello and a very good morning. You're very welcome along to the 9 till Noon Show for our last full week before Christmas, you could say, I suppose, and our last full week of the show in 2024. And what a 24 it's been. Hopefully you had a great weekend, by the way, and hopefully you're feeling good today. And you can stick with us for the next 3 hours. And because we're easing into Christmas, we've got a lovely array of stuff on the programme this week. Today, we are crossing to Nazareth House. We have Sinead Black and her partner Ali, her dad Ali, supporting her, of course. And we're going to be speaking to people over in Nazareth House, getting a little bit of live music. That's coming up after 10 o'clock. That's going to be an audio experience, of course, for you listening, but you can also watch that if you want to hop onto the YouTube channel, Highland Radio Ireland. You can watch that on the large screen in your TV, if it's a smart TV, or your Fire Stick if you wish. We're also on Facebook and X. Then after 11, I think we're giving away €1,000. This week, you can win over €35,000 between cars and cash on Highland Radio. If you haven't got your ticket, this is the day to get it because it is the last big week. As I say, all this week we've got 5 draws of €1,000 and then we've got a car worth over €30,000. There's still an awful lot to play for. We've already had 5 €1,000 winners. We're going to make another 1,000 there after 11 o'clock today, and then more money to give away all week, and then a car worth over €30,000. So what I will say to you is this, if you don't mind, just at the start of the show, if you are inclined to buy a ticket, or if you want to buy a ticket for someone as a present, a birthday or Christmas or whatever it might be, you now have an opportunity to win well over €35,000 in cash and car. 5 €1,000 draws and 1 beautiful Toyota Yaris Cross. If you want to get your tickets, now's the time to do it, because then you're in it for the week and you can chill. And you can go onto our website, highlandradio.com, click win a car there, buy your tickets. As I say, if you can get them before 10, all the better, or half 10, all the better, because then we're making the car draw a little later on. Not the car draw, I beg your pardon, the €1,000 draw a little later on. The car draw comes on the 23rd of December. And also, if you just want to buy a ticket at the start of the week for the crack, then you can give us a call here on 07491 25,000. We'll be able to sort you out there. We can process it for you or call up with cash. And the reason I'm mentioning it now, just to recap, it's the start of the week. There's 5 €1,000 up for grabs, and there is a car up for grabs as well. The tickets are €15. I would encourage you, please, only to buy one if you can afford it and have the spare cash, and it's a bit of fun for you, right? Or if you want to buy 5 for €50, obviously there's a saving there, and you can put different names on them and what have you. So that's 5,000 draws, 5 €1,000 draws this week, and a car. Today, this hour and a half is when you need to get in to win and potentially win all of those prizes. You can call up to the station here as well if you wish to purchase your ticket, but give us a call 07491 25,000 if you want us to process it for you over the phone. On to the papers this morning. The Derry People Donegal News have a remarkable picture taken from the sky. It seems to be from a drone. And it's relating to this story. A Donegal councillor has praised emergency services for their quick response after a fire broke out at the old Gulladuff Mill in Moville. Thankfully, there were no injuries as a result of the blaze, which broke out late on Friday evening. Local councillor Martin Farron said it took almost 7 hours for fire crews to extinguish the blaze, but their actions ensured the fire didn't spread to adjacent businesses amid concerns over the fact that the roof of the damaged building contains asbestos. The site has been cordoned off. Staff from the environmental section of Donegal County Council visited the site on Saturday night. The fire service have all the best equipment in terms of air purification and what have you, but it is an added danger, no doubt, when they are tackling a blaze of this magnitude. And I didn't realise the building was quite as big as it is. They have to protect themselves from the flames, from the smoke, and potentially asbestos fumes. Fair play to them, actually, for what they do. It's amazing. It's a great picture. That actually really paints the picture of that blaze. The Derry News this morning: on the run murderer still at large. Police are searching for convicted murderer James Meehan, who remains unlawfully at large. Meehan, 55, has been serving a life sentence following a murder conviction in 2009. Police said he failed to return to prison after being on day release from HMP McGilligan last Monday. Officers are appealing for information to assist in locating Meehan, adding that they encourage him to return himself in. A spokesperson said, "We're appealing to anyone who's seen him or who knows of his whereabouts not to approach him directly, but to contact police on 101," quoting reference 125 09 12 24. This is not trying to dilute from an important story here, but there's strong potential of a cross-border element to this. And I just wish the PSNI, I think the Gardaí are very good at it, I wish the PSNI would consider more how people in the Republic contact the police service. Okay, so we don't have a non-emergency number to contact the PSNI here. And as I say, with a lot of these appeals, and especially missing persons appeals, there's often a cross-border element. And I still to this day don't understand why the PSNI don't take account of that. As I say, this very well could have a cross-border element to it, but where would you begin to contact the PSNI? I wouldn't know. And we've had situations in the past here whereby people have looked to make a complaint to the police from the south and were unable to find a number. We got them a number eventually, but it was quite the dig. On to the Nationals now, and again, you might be waiting for postage. You might be wondering, are your family going to be able to get home on the ferry out of Holyhead? There's a lot of unanswered questions. Holyhead was closed after damage from Storm Dara. There was some speculation that it would be back up and running this Thursday, but no one seems to know the extent of the damage. But it has huge implications for Irish businesses that are trying to, get stuff into the UK market. People waiting on deliveries from Britain, but also too, obviously, around 150,000 people use the ferry from Holyhead over Christmas. So many people are wondering, am I going to be able to pack up the car and come home, or am I going to be able to get home? Excuse me. So there's lots of talk ongoing to try and get all stuff moving. We're going to be speaking to a haulier actually a little later on in this hour, just to get a sense of what the reality is for them guys. But anyway, I'll read on here. Tens of thousands of ferry passengers travelling home from Britain this Christmas could be facing travel chaos, with fears Holyhead repairs will not be ready for the festive rush. The port has been closed due to damage caused during Storm Dara. Passenger diversions and a reliance on alternative ports will reduce facilities. With reduced facilities are all factors that are set to cause chaos later this week, with around 150,000 passengers hoping to travel on the Holyhead to Dublin route in the days leading up to Christmas. The government is considering asking ports which are set up solely to carry freight to put in place temporary facilities to be able to carry passengers. The Irish Independent understands that's been confirmed by government, but that's complicated too, because a lot of the ports that they're talking of would deal with energy infrastructure and that type of stuff. So, they've got deadlines. They'll want compensation, won't they? Junior Transport Minister James Lawless will meet stakeholders such as Irish Rail and the Irish Road Haulage Association this morning before meeting representatives of ferry companies, Stena and Irish Ferries this afternoon. It's up to ports and ferries to provide additional capacity in order to ease the backlog created by the closure at Holyhead Port. So I don't know, are you or any of your family looking to use that route? Are you concerned if you'll be able to? Or maybe you've been contacted by a ferry company and offered alternatives. Any information would be useful. The WhatsApp number 00353866025,000. Another story we're going to talk about a little later on is the closure of the Israeli embassy in Dublin, which to some extent, if I were Israeli or Jewish for that matter, and I was living in Ireland, and there's quite a community of the people I described there, it would feel a little bit like my country turning my back on me. That's how I might feel anyway. But we will speak to representatives of the Israeli community to see what their views are. The Irish Times: Ireland will not be deterred from pursuing its case against Israel at the International Court of Justice over the Gaza conflict after the Israeli government announced yesterday it was closing its embassy in Dublin, the government have said. Confirming the decision yesterday, the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the decision to close the Israeli embassy in Dublin was made in light of the extreme anti-Israel policy of the Irish government. The move comes in the wake of diplomatic tensions between the countries over Ireland's recognition of Palestine statehood and its participation in the South African lawsuit against Israel at the ICJ. And I'm going to read in the paper a little bit later on, at least 45,000 people, many of them women and children, are dead in Gaza. And I would say that's quite a conservative estimate. This was all in retaliation to that awful situation whereby a number of Israelis were killed or kidnapped in October of last year. A horrendous act by Hamas. But what has unfolded since is very hard to argue as a proportional response. You've got effectively the third of the population of Donegal just wiped off the face of the earth, bombed out of it. Can you imagine? In a show and effectively blown to bits and not a man, woman or child left. That's effectively, there might be some variance in population. That's effectively what's happened. And for those that survive, God knows what the trauma must be like, but they've nothing to go back to because it is a flattened, just a concrete dump effectively. And as I say, I'll read about that a little later on. Irish Daily Mail this morning. Thousands, and this is a question that I was putting to. A question I was putting to Simon Harris and others as it relates to the ambitious plans to build houses here. It was the infrastructure, the water, the sewage, the power. And here we are now after the election. It's the front page of the Irish Daily Mail. Thousands of new homes pledged by the government over the next 5 years may not be built because there's not enough water, Uisce Éireann has warned. The water body also says it needs an extra 1.7 billion in funding or it simply cannot complete the job. Despite the government targets an average of 50,000 new homes annually, Uisce Éireann can only currently supply 35,000 new homes a year for the next 5 years, the head of the beleaguered water utility admitted yesterday. And that is just a reality. Okay, I'll come back to the papers, but Daniel O'Dowd is Ireland-Israel, or spokesperson for the Ireland-Israel Alliance, and very busy this morning, so I won't delay him any longer. Daniel, good morning to you. Thank you for your time.
Brilliant. Thank you for having me on.
Daniel, your reaction to Israel's decision to close its embassy in Dublin. I mean, obviously this talks to a very poor set of circumstances for the Israel-Ireland relationship. Do you think the decision was the right one?
I think whether it's the right one is another question. I think ultimately it's a far too predictable one. It's one that it's been a question of for the past couple of months, even years, a question of when, not if. If we date it back to 2018 in the Occupied Territories Bill, and I think that sentiment is only really accelerated post-October 7th. And I think obviously the Israeli government felt there was no benefit accruing from having diplomatic relationships with Dublin. They obviously felt they were deafened to whatever Israel had to say and were really intent on taking provocative action to really target Israel on the international stage.
But this is it not leaving the Jewish/Israel population in Ireland a bit high and dry? Because the embassy is there also, of course, for people to engage with and what have you.
Well, I think that's why it was such a sad moment for so many people yesterday when the news broke, and exactly that. The embassy was such a source and pillar of support for the community, and many of the Israelis who are operating here in the tech industry post October 7th. It was there for people. So it's very sad that ultimately, Israel has felt the need to make this statement or make this move to send a message to Dublin in diplomatic terms, because it does come at a cost. And, I think what's ultimately very upsetting for many of the Jewish community here is that there's just doesn't seem to be a short to medium term possibility of relations being revived in any sort of a constructive way.
You referenced the horrendous actions of Hamas on October 7th last year, in which hundreds of people were killed, many and slaughtered in the most despicable way, and of course many people taken hostage, and they are still missing to this day. Absolutely horrendous what was done on that day. But since then, Israel has responded and has been very active in Gaza, as you would know. The death toll now in excess of 45,000 euro, many of them innocent civilians, women and children, which has triggered the government's stance on Israel. With all that being said, I mean, you couldn't justify, I'm sure, Israel's actions over the course of the last 13 months, could you?
I think absolutely we can stand over them. This is a war on terror, and ultimately, when we look at it, this is why are Israel still in Gaza? And I think that's the question people need to be asking. The reason they're still in there is because there is Israeli hostages who are left, and at the most recent round of peace negotiations or ceasefire negotiations more accurately, between Hamas and Israel, Hamas refused to verify how many hostages were still alive or offer that information up. And what we've seen is, even from previous conflicts, is when Israelis are taken hostage into Gaza, they can be there for years, decades, and the international community is not going to do anything really to bring them home, so to speak. So that is fundamentally why Israel is still there. And when we look at what the past couple of months has been about, it has been destroying the Hamas terror network, it's the Hezbollah terror network. It has been really weakening Iran as well. We're ultimately, and I think that's something really worth stating here as well, in terms of, we talk about Ireland's, concern for the Middle East, but at the same point, we've opened an embassy in Tehran in the past couple of months, and yet Iran has used Palestinians to serve their own political ends and attack Israel and use them as a proxy. And I think it's a very, very poor message for us to send, that we're going to criticise Israel, we're going to dilute the definition of genocide in the international law circles to suit our narrative on the Middle East. But when we look at the people who are pushing and really manipulating the Palestinians and the Iranians, we've rewarded them with an embassy, which is in marked contrast to many of our European neighbours.
An embassy is an embassy, right? It's a building and it's symbolic, and I get that. But just go back to, if you don't mind. So at what cost? What cost is too much to get rid of Hamas? Many believe that they've been reduced to virtually nothing at this point, and in fact, it's an ideology. Do you know what I mean? It's not actually feet on the ground. It's an ideology, and it will bounce back. But I mean, all the women and children, the innocents that have been killed, and maybe Hamas used them as human shields. But at the end of the day, you actually genuinely think it's justifiable what Israel has done in the to some extent, or to a great extent, indiscriminate bombing that has killed so many women and children and innocent men as well. You think that's justified?
Well, I think it's very important what we say. This is, as I said, it is a war on terror, and I do think it can be justified when we look at several of the measures that have been taken by the IDF to try and reduce civilian casualties. And I think it is also incredibly important to mention this is an urban conflict where, inevitably when these conflicts come about, the civilian to combatant casualty ratios are exceptionally difficult to manage. When we look at previous American conflicts, they can be 8 to 1, 9 to 1, 10 to 1. At the moment, the IDF is saying that the civilian to combatant casualty ratio is somewhere in the region of 2 to 1.5 to 1, which I know that doesn't take away any of the pain and suffering that's happening in Gaza. What it does show is that this isn't indiscriminate. This is targeted. This is also trying to crush a terror network.
Daniel, I get what you're saying, right? But when you talk of, when I'm looking at images here in front of me of children in bits here, when you talk about ratios and that we're doing better than America did at 8 or 9 to 1, and it's only 2.5 to 1, and like. This is why people's attitude around the world is changing towards Israel, and this is why it's getting difficult for Israeli people to live in other countries, because for most people, the way you've just described that it's incomprehensible that anyone could justify the murdering of civilians by saying it's not quite as bad as others do it.
Well, I think we need to really push back on that. And also when we say about, Israelis not being, being able to live in the wider world, we've seen a pogrom and an attempted lynching in Amsterdam. We've seen a synagogue in Australia set alight. There has been some very, very violent rhetoric bandied about, which has been really irresponsible. And also we've had a Jewish student in Ireland beaten up in a nightclub for wearing a Star of David necklace and being identified as such. So I think when we're talking about this, it's not that we're saying that, this ratio. It's in terms we're looking and saying we are trying to protect civilian lives. We are trying to do these things. And ultimately, when it's really important to mention that there was a ceasefire on October 6th. There has been many attempts at peace or, attempts to push in, I suppose, a framework for relative peace, security and stability. But Hamas broke that, and ultimately this is sort of their propaganda.
What do you think of what's your views of the? I don't know if you have any friends that are Palestinian. What's your views of just the general Palestinian people, not Hamas now, the general Palestinian people? Do you think you like them as neighbours in Israel?
Absolutely. I think, when you look at the Palestinian people, I think they're a very abused people, quite frankly, and this comes back to my previous point. I think they've been abused by so many of their neighbouring Arab countries. They've been used as political tools to serve other people's agenda, and they've never really been given that chance, so to speak. But I think when we talk about being good neighbours, it's also that it's so important that Palestinians are separated from Hamas. And that is what fundamentally Israel is trying to do.
Hamas is, as I said earlier on, it's an ideology. It's not individuals. It's an ideology. You cannot bomb. You cannot bomb people's thoughts out of their heads. This is actually probably going to make it more difficult going forward.
Well, I think the big thing that when we look at it, and one of the things that we noticed in the West Bank is that we've got, Hamas had been rising in popularity both pre and post October 7th. And what that means is there was a certain level of strength that Palestinians were attributing to Hamas. What Israel has done is taken that strength away from them. And we've seen Arab neighbours looking to say now is the platform to fundamentally shape the course of Palestinian society away from Hamas.
I will say just finally, Daniel, because it might come in anyway, it's your point of view, but I did put it to you twice about the shocking level of death amongst particularly children and women and men, of course, as well, and to break it down to sort of a ratio in terms, civilian versus military deaths. And you didn't really sort of, for me, as Daniel, you didn't acknowledge, the particularly the kids being killed, wiped off the face of the earth. Do you have anything to say about that you think it's regrettable or it's unjustifiable that kids are being killed the way they are?
Well, I fundamentally reject that I haven't acknowledged that. I think I have said that, it is horrific what's happening in Gaza, and, every innocent life we should be regretting, but I think it's fundamentally a question of when you're coming back to this is saying, where is the blame at? The blame is at Hamas, who are using their own people as puppets, who are using them as, tools in their game. And John, I fundamentally reject the concept that, with these absolutely harrowing images, that, we get to slander, we get to attack the other side. And, it's also looking at some of the things that have been said here, saying, well, the images in Gaza mean that it's somewhat acceptable what Israelis and Jews have been put through across the world because people are angry. Can I say, I think a really good example for people listening in is the example of Owen Hayes this week. There's been a scandal over his shares in Palantir. Now, if you look at Owen Hayes' political record on the issue of Israel, it is pronounced in terms of calling for sanctions, calling for actions, exceptionally critical. And he fell afoul of this narrative on the Middle East, this pro-Palestinian narrative, and it ended last week with the headquarters of the Social Democrats being evacuated in Frederick Street because of a bomb threat.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, where do you start in history about proportional responses to things? And you have other appointments, and we can't get into it now, but you know, people, for the average listener, maybe in Ireland, perhaps not elsewhere, you know, a lot of Christian buildings are set on fire and what have you, but a synagogue being attacked versus a bomb to kill one Hamas leader, killing 600 or 700 civilians, the public generally then don't feel too bothered about a building. That's probably terrible, but that's just the way people's minds work.
Well, I think when there's people in the building, I think it's very different. You know, when there's people praying early in the morning and there is petrol and gasoline being thrown into the windows and it's being set alight with people inside it, I think that's very different. And I think it's minimising the violence and backlash there has been to say it's been against buildings and institutions, not people. It has been fundamentally a backlash against Israeli and Jewish people. And I think, you know, we can talk about a certain attack or what have you. And also it is very important to say this as well, that there have been several claims by Hamas about mass casualties and attacks that have come out and been proven false, and which have just stirred up.
And there was also claims of what happened on that horrible day on October 7th that turned out to not be proven either. Okay, listen, thanks for your time, Daniel. I do appreciate it. Danny Lodowd there, who's Ireland's Israel spokesperson for Ireland's Israel Alliance. And just to, I was going through the papers, and actually, the next story was about the death toll in Gaza. Israel forces continued to pound largely isolated northern Gaza. Yesterday's the Palestinian death toll in the war approached 45,000 euro. That's in the Irish Daily Star today. Just to continue the papers, and then we'll move on. In the Sun today, it reads, amid fears over politicians' safety, a security allowance for our 234 TDs and senators has been bumped up to €25,000 each. The new figure, a five-fold increase on the previous amount of €5,000, is for alarms, CCTV gear and other measures. It comes after incidents involving Irish politicians in recent months, including hoax bomb threats to the homes of outgoing Taoiseach Simon Harris and Justice Minister Helen McEntee. Absolutely horrendous that I think that politicians are being targeted like that, and that we're in a state in this country that each requires €25,000 for their security. That being said, I think there's many in the public that might feel that, and it's all politicians, by the way, so it's not government bashing, that they could pay for that out of their own pockets, should they not? And this is a little somewhat like in terms of how people react to stories like our last story, because obviously there is a fear, a threat to politicians, and that's why they're being given that money. But my word, the public are probably going to say, okay, but can we have safer streets, please? What about us? And that's where sometimes it feels like, I think people might observe a difference in how people are treated. Some examples just in the Irish Mirror today. A notorious thug has been arrested over a brutal attack on two off-duty Gardaí, which left one critically ill. The officers attached to the Dublin Regional Armed Support Unit had been at a Christmas party when they were attacked from behind in Dublin's Temple Bar at around 1:30 p.m. on Sunday. Meanwhile, this is the shocking moment. A woman almost fell under the wheel of a passing bus as she tried to break up a fight. The horror incident unfolded on Lower George's Street in Dunleary, County Dublin on December 7th. Man in hospital after single punch horror on night out. A man was critically ill in hospital last night after he suffered serious head injuries in a one-punch attack. The incident happened early on Saturday morning in Mullingar, County West Meath. Elsewhere, a man's in hospital with head injuries following an assault. He was discovered unconscious on Monaghan Street, Newry, County Down, in the early hours of yesterday. That's in the north. Of course, we had a person, the victim of a serious assault in Ballybofey at the weekend as well. And if you're a woman, unfortunately, an incredible amount of women being assaulted, seriously injured, or murdered. And a murder investigation was launched yesterday after the death of a woman. The PSNI said Karen Cummings, who was 40, was found in Banbridge, County Down, Saturday night. 2 people have been arrested in connection with her death. So as I say, I'm not saying there's competing levels of threat and fear and what have you, but that's why, just so politicians understand, that's why people react in such a way when they hear of big money being given to people for protection, and then they'll look at the paper. I'm only saying what people think. Some people think, right? They'll look at that and go, well, what about the security for us? What about more Garty on the beat? What about, so on and so forth? Please correct your caller. It was the Jewish football fans in Amsterdam that started all of the trouble in Amsterdam. There are different views on that. I've seen both sides of it. That's your view, and I've put it out there. I would query whether Greg has seen the study stating that the Gaza Health Ministry counted Hamas members in the death toll of children, and whether he's seen the videos of Gazan celebrating October 7th. I, with respect, not digging that deep into that, about what videos look like and whether anything's justified. This is just where I'm at on this one, and I'll be very clear, and I try and avoid expressing opinion as much as possible. I don't know the ins and outs of what's happening. Maybe they've miscounted some of them. Maybe they're counting Hamas. I don't know. But in terms of the women and children, and there are very few Hamas members that are women and children, the death toll for them is tens of thousands blown to bits. So whether there's a video of people in Gaza celebrating October 7th or not, does that justify, will it ever justify children being killed like that? For me, I'm sorry, it won't. That being said, we brought a gentleman on who believes differently as such, and he had his say as well. All right, back with more after these.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from €40,000 to €600,000 with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
Attention golfers. Swing your way into Christmas with McGurk's Golf. We've got all the best brands under one roof like TaylorMade, Under Armour, Callaway, Titleist and more. Find the perfect gift for the golfer in your life at McGurk's Golf, Unit 16, 40 Retail Park, Letterkenny. McGurk's Golf. Best brands, best value.
Donegal at night. It's vibrant, it's diverse, it's ours. Let's be safe and sound. Whether you're out for dinner, a show, a match, or just a stroll, we all play a part in creating a safe and enjoyable atmosphere. Let's look out for each other. Keep our streets clean. Have fun. Let's keep Donegal a place where everyone feels welcome and respected. Let's be safe and sound. This ad was brought to you by Donegal County Council and is an initiative of the Buncrana Nighttime Economy.
As you get ready for your baby, it's normal to feel lots of emotions, both positive and negative. If you feel overwhelmed, talk to your GP or midwife. Visit mychild.ie for advice on pregnancy, baby and toddler health.
Tinny's Toys, your local toy store. Christmas Club is now open. Everything for newborn right up to model collectors. Leck Road, Letterkenny. Or shop online at tinnystoys.com. Did you know that we even give 5% cash back on all purchases when you sign up to our loyalty program? Tinny's Toys, much more than just farm toys. Leck Road, Letterkenny. Or shop online at tinnystoys.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi folks, Paul McDevitt here, inviting you to join myself and Jimmy Stafford this Monday night for a very special Christmas edition of the Monday Night Sessions. And we're coming to you live from O'Flaherty's Bar in Buncrana, and we'd love to see you there. Joining us on the night is the amazing Conor Chisholm and his grandfather, the legendary Frank Chisholm. We also say a massive hello to the Beefsteak Dancers, the Two Bucks, the Unishown Choir of Ages, and the Hopeful Kind. So that's the Monday Night Sessions Christmas special from O'Flaherty's Bar in Buncrana this Monday night at the earlier time of 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. As always, right here on Highland Radio.
Highland Radio Time Checks brought to you by EirGrid, the operator and developer of Ireland's electricity grid. EirGrid, powering up communities, powering up Ireland. The time is...
It's 9:37. Nuala's with me now. Hiya, Nuala. Good morning to you.
Hello, this is Mary here.
Mary? Okay. Is it Nuala or Mary? Are you talking about rugby shirts?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Sorry, Mary. I beg your pardon.
No, you're okay, Greg. Shop local is my big thing. went into the local independent sports shop on Friday to buy Christmas presents for grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
They're at an age now they can tell you what they want. So one of them wanted an FAI jersey and the other wanted a rugby jersey.
Lovely.
So when I went into the local sports shop looking, I know the lad that owns the shop. Buy there as much as we can. And he informed me that due to an agreement with the IRFU and the FAI, he is not allowed to sell the jerseys. They can only be bought from the larger retail stores.
That's not great. It squeezes out your independent store. And I know the store you're talking of. It's fantastic. Shop there regularly myself, Mary.
Yeah.
But they're prohibited even from selling them. So they can't source them and sell them because of the big deals with the big stores.
Yes. And I was very annoyed. I was very annoyed on Friday. And I told loads of people, and loads of people don't know about this. And I just want to get the word out there. I think maybe people power, we could swing a bit of this back in favour of the local shop. Like, the local shops will just disappear if this keeps going on. Everything, you know?
Yeah, because these are, at the end of the day, it's grassroots support that keep the rugby teams and the football teams out. You want to be able to support your grassroots locally and be able to buy your...
and then local shops as well. If there's a charity event coming up or any event in a local area, they're in looking for money and sponsorship and employ your child in it down the road, and there's a lot of things.
Yeah, okay. And what are you going to do now, though? Because you're in a bind, aren't you?
Well, I went to the larger retail store, and they hadn't got them in stock. But I think on principle I wouldn't have bought it anyway. So I went back to the local shop, and I got gift vouchers.
Very good. Well done. All right. Good point, Mary. Actually, I haven't heard it before, but I do appreciate you sharing it with us, and I'm sure your grandchildren will be more than happy with that, because there's lots of stuff for that. It's Britain's, isn't it? Britain's Sports Shop. It's a brilliant shop down there in Donegal Town. All right. Take care, Mary. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you, Greg.
Okay,
Thank
bye. Right, Darren on Facebook says, Highland, like RTE, have been captured by the far left. I've never been described as far left, but thanks, Darren. Have been captured by the far left and just a pure propaganda machine between supporting terrorists in the Middle East. We have to be more clear in relation to that. Destroying our country with trans and immigrants. Destroying our country with trans. I mean, I know there's a raging debate at the moment, Darren, about that kind of stuff in schools and in terms of medical treatments, particularly for under 18s and stuff. But are you for real that you're pitching the two immigrants and trans in at the same time? Anyway, listen, good to have your views nonetheless. Morning, Greg. Trying to reason with the pro-Israel rich kids like running into a cement wall repeatedly. They always have and always will play the victim, even when they are the aggressor. There are people in the buildings in Palestine. There's children saying their morning prayers. Cheek on you, Daniel, sheer cheek. Jews are always right. See, I don't like sort of collectively labelling people, if you don't mind me sort of interfering in your message, because it's the collective punishment of Palestinians that is upsetting an awful lot of people. So to say that all Jewish people are all of the same view, maybe I'm being naive on this. That's a race to the bottom, in my view. But anyway, the Western world looks the other way as they slaughter mostly women and children, blow up schools and hospitals. More children have been killed in this war than anyone before. But Israelis can still justify it, and if you don't agree with them, then you're anti-Jewish. They are doing the same as what Germany did to them. So the world has learned nothing. Good morning. Can you find out for the residents in Letterkenny if the council has a time frame to fix the footpaths outside the chemist? Sorry, I beg your pardon. It's not Letterkenny. I'll start again. Good morning. Can you find out for our residents in the town if the council have a time frame to fix the footpaths outside the chemist in Dunfanaghy Main Street? The curbs are loose and some of them missing. Very dangerous for older people. It's like this for about 2 years. The local councillor was on the council, but they still never fixed it. Right, we'll get on to it, see what the story is. What's the delay in fixing Dunfanaghy Main Street? Was the works there and the road hasn't been returned to the way it was once before? We'll check it out, and maybe there's a local business there that has an insight that might get in touch with us and let us know. Right, we're going to be talking about the logistics nightmare in terms of freight and humans due to damage at Holyhead. We have to take this short break, though. We'll be right back with that.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook, and at highlandradio.com. The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Make your Christmas dinner extra special with the ESIS Centre's organic vegetable box. We've created a special vegetable box packed with 10 delicious organic vegetables to complete your festive feast. Choose from full box or half box options. Give your family the gift of fresh, wholesome vegetables this Christmas. Order now on 07493 848866 and make your Christmas dinner unforgettable this year. Deliveries to Inishowen and Derry catchment areas.
That's the sound of someone sleeping soundly on a Restex mattress. Choose from the Donegal range. A Teelan, a Kinnigo, or a Mulroy mattress. It'll change the way you sleep forever. Restex beds, mountaintop Letterkenny. Leave the rest to us.
If you're struggling for Christmas gift ideas, look no further than Watson Hire in Letterkenny. They've brilliant deals on tools, homeware, workwear, and comfy boots to keep anyone warm on the job. Plus loads of stocking fillers and other gift ideas in store. Or have it delivered straight to your door at watsonhire.ie. Get a gift that matters at Watson Hire, Lisnanen, Letterkenny. Also open every Sunday until Christmas.
Hi, Paddy here at Shane Conley Cars in Donegal Town. Are you looking to upgrade your car? With Shane Conley Cars, you'll find makes and models for every budget. Great finance options, and we also accept trade-ins. Check out shaneconleycars.com or call in to us at Shane Conley Cars from Lonaher Road, Donegal Town.
While everyone's obsessing about the Christmas season, you've got a different season on your mind. One where red noses come from shouting your support in the crisp, cold, pitchside air. Where the roaring fire is in your belly, not your sitting room. And the perfect gift is an unexpected win. Don't miss a moment with a GAA season ticket. A gift for yourself or the fan in your life. Available at gaa.ie/season ticket. Are you in? The GAA, where we all belong.
At Joe McGee Butchers, we have all your needs to make your Christmas dinner extra special this year. If it's a fresh whole turkey or turkey breast fillet in a vac-pack cooking bag with a cooking pop-up timer, a delicious ham joint or succulent dry-aged sirloin steak, call in today to the award-winning Joe McGee's Butchers, Letterkenny Shopping Centre, where we have your Christmas all wrapped up.
Now, Irish hauliers have called for a temporary relaxation of the rules in driving hours and rest time to address delays caused by the closure of Holyhead to be extended now to Britain. And I understand that Britain are open to this. A derogation was signed into law by Minister for Transport Eamon Ryan and Minister of State for Transport James Lawless over the weekend to allow them to drive longer for shorter breaks. It's because of a huge backlog in deliveries because of damage to Holyhead. Let's see if we can get an insight now, and I'm sure we can, from John McLaughlin of JML Transport. Hi, John. Good morning to you.
Morning, Greg. How are you?
Not too bad at all. This, in terms of connections between Wales and Ireland, Britain and Ireland, this is the worst possible situation at the worst possible time. What are you hearing from Holyhead, from drivers?
Very, very long delays, and just what you announced there now, they're trying to introduce a concession at the weekend, but it's a bit late, as the man would say, because everybody being in the Hollies game, you have to be there. There's no such case of the boat's stuck for a couple of days. People don't accept that. So they should have done that in the beginning, because they knew right well it's going to take longer than a couple of 3 days to fix the berth. But there's 2 berths in Holyhead, and I've only reported one being damaged. So I can't understand that's why they can't use the second one. I can't understand that, but anyway, what they're doing now is diverting all the traffic from Holyhead back 2.5, 3 hours back to Birkenhead, or back out over the top, or go to Rosslare, which is from Holyhead to Rosslare, or to Pembroke, or down there. Like, you're looking at another 5-6 hours driving. Like, and that's all cost to the haulier that's not getting that money back.
Yeah,
it's costing a wee fortune.
And the bottom line as well, too, with the best will in the world, and we rely incredibly an awful lot on hauliers, haulage companies and the drivers. And I don't think people sometimes, until situations like this occur, realise how last minute an awful lot of it is as well. That's the way the system works. But, you know, it's going to be very hard, isn't it, to clear the backlog of stuff looking to go from Ireland to Britain and Britain to Ireland. And that's before we even start talking about, you know, people coming home for Christmas. In terms of moving the stuff, John, it's going to be tough.
It is going to be tough, and there's a lot of hauliers at the moment. Like I'm sending stuff out to the continent as well. Like, and thank God I'm working with professional people. Like, and they're doing the job the best they can, and I can understand. But the ordinary person doesn't understand. And what I said back in 2008, the time the diesel protest was, within 3 to 4 days, no lorries moving in Ireland. They'd be knocking on the shelves. And now it's coming to truth. Now it's actually 2 days to 3 days, and there's nothing hardly moving, and the frozen goods has been held up, going over and coming back. And the extra cost, like I know for a fact that one person had to send a lorry out to the continent there, and they had to double man it, which they had to pay for an extra driver, plus they had to go the long way around, which the whole run, he's told me, has cost him €2,780 in total, which he can't claim from the person that's sending them out with that load. There's nothing he can do, but it was a time delivery and it had to be there. And then if he didn't double man it, the driver would have had to take a 45-hour break, which means you can't stay in the lorry. With this stupid rule, you have to stay in a hotel. So it might be a chance for all these people now that's looking at lorries to think, right, you know, we need to reinvent the wheel here, and I think the wheel needs to be reinvented big time. Instead of using a square wheel, we need to start using a round wheel.
Yeah, and of
because,
course, too,
there's a lot of rules.
We're running out of days as well between now and Christmas. I imagine a lot of companies in this country too have drivers from, you know, mainland Europe or what have you, who maybe have scheduled breaks to go and spend time with their families. So throw that into the mix as we get closer to Christmas, and it's going to be problematic to say the least.
But they have to pay for a hotel for them to stay in. They can't stay in the lorry for a 45-minute break, and that's a stupid rule as far as I'm concerned.
But really, then,
again,
John, are we at the point here whereby this will pass like everything passes, but you would like to see it? You would like to see it used as an opportunity and a reminder that the systems need overhauling here.
Big time. Definitely big time. The rules and regulations, like we're on a 9-hour driving 10 hours a week, like it's not enough. And they're chatting about reducing the speed limits here, and that's going to cause more chaos on the roads. Never mind anything else. Like, but again, there's no thought put into it. There's no backup. There is backup, but there's false backup. It's the same with electric cars. They tell you this, that, and other electric cars. Well, I could spend 10 minutes to tell you why you shouldn't buy an electric car. But
leave that for another day, maybe, John.
I know. And let me tell you, a lot of people will be very annoyed what I would tell them. But anyway, as I say, that's for another day. But there's a lot of rules and regulations that has to be changed in the transport. Delivery cost, extra cost for boats and all that, and you're having to wait then for boats to. I know a lorry was sitting in Birkenhead for 2.5, 3 days, couldn't move. Then I'd run into his weekend break, and he had to go and stay in a hotel. And like the whole thing's cost him another £700 and odd more, because he had to take his break as well as the hotel break and pay for the hotel, pay for everything. And hope the lorry's still there when he gets back.
As always, John, a great insight. John McLaughlin there of JML Transport.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
You can hope, touch wood, wave to that magpie. But sometimes, no matter how many umbrellas you refuse to open indoors, things happen. And if they happen, you should know what we do. We are the Injuries Resolution Board, the independent and impartial state body that resolves personal injury claims in Ireland. We use the exact same guidelines as the courts to calculate compensation, and on average, we resolve cases 2 years faster, saving time and money. Find out more at injuries.ie. And fingers crossed, you'll never need us.
It's my family, my business. I don't need any help from you people. Keep asking all these questions. Mum and me are fine. I'm gonna leave her alone for 5 minutes. She freaks out. I just don't know how to help her. Note said she's not coming back. I've got no family, no friends. Came over yesterday. Things are kind of normal again thanks to you listening to me every week. I'm feeling better, you know.
Bernardo's changed many children's stories, but we can't without your support. Please donate today at bernardos.ie, because childhood lasts a lifetime.
Throbbing head, sore back, the aches and pains of cold and flu. No one pain is the same. But for all those everyday pains, there's a moment when you start to feel release. That moment when you start to get back to being you, and you feels amazing. Panadol Extra film-coated tablets. Powerful pain relief. Release starts here. Contains paracetamol. Always read the label, leaflet.
This is your last chance to win €10,000 at iMotors. Buy any new 251 Nissan at iMotors and be entered into our 10k draw. The winner will be picked December 23rd. Call into our showroom in Drumkeen or Malin or check out imotors.ie.
iMotors, fearless generation.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Find the perfect present for everyone on your list this festive season. Discover the joy of gifting and make Christmas magical with McElhenney's Ballybuffet. Visit us in-store or online at mcelhenneys.com.
So already it's looking like we're not going to have a white Christmas, but that's fine if people have to move around and stuff. Isn't it? Today, a mix of sunny spells and scattered showers. Highest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees and moderate, locally fresh and gusty southwest winds. Winds will be strong at times near the west and north coast. Now becoming largely dry as showers die out with clear spells at first tonight. Cloud will increase from the west overnight. Lowest temperatures of 6 to 8 degrees and moderate to fresh southerly winds. Right, just to let you know that you have about an hour to get your tickets if you want to be part of the big week of giveaways. Over €35,000 to give away this week in cars and in cash. We've €1,000 to give away in this show later. A further 4,000 to give away over consecutive days this week. And then 1 week today, we're giving away a brand new Toyota Yaris Cross to one of you lucky entrants. So if you want to get your tickets to be in all 6 draws, all 6 draws, now is the time, because it's a big week of giveaways here on Highland Radio. 086 60 25,000 is the WhatsApp and text number. 086 60 25,000. That's not the number to get your tickets, by the way, sorry. That's 07491 25,000. Give us a call here. We can process those tickets for you and make sure you're in the big week's draws. Or indeed, if you prefer, you can go onto our website, and it's probably preferential. 08 highlandradio.com. highlandradio.com. Right, okay, my headphones weren't working there briefly, and it's amazing how you get to be able to hear yourself back, and then you're hamstrung when you can't. Hi Greg, can anyone explain why the council and councillors all call for people to shop local, yet they don't waiver the parking charges to get people into local towns for the month of December? The one thing I think maybe is it that we have to consider in that situation is that it could be chaos if people just abandon cars, people working in shops. Obviously there's a revenue element to car parking charges, but there's also a traffic control element to it as well. One must remember. Hi Greg, do you think a firm should discipline their workers for not working Sundays? I'm talking about employees in their 60s, nearly ready to retire, and has given more than half their working, half to their life working in that company. That comes from Lily. How discipline the workers for not working Sundays? I'm not sure what the scenario is there. It depends on your contract too, I suppose, Lily. And even though maybe they've been working there for a long time, everyone in the workplace often has to be treated equally. I don't know, Lily. It depends on the business and all that type of stuff. On the face of it, it does seem a little unfair, but as I say, I would need to know more. Right, we're going to take a break. Very excited because after 10 o'clock, we're going to cross over to Sinead and Ali and Joe at Nazareth House for a chat with those living there and a bit of news on the work that they do and how they're preparing for Christmas. So we're really looking forward to that. We had a great reaction to it last year. If you want to watch that, get on YouTube right now. Highland Radio Ireland is where you'll find us. Okay, back after the news and obituary notices.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
What if you could send a free chocolate bar in secret to someone special? Just to, give them a little lift. With the Cadbury Secret Santa Postal Service, you can send free chocolate secretly from a poster. They're popping up all over the country, from great big cities to quaint little towns. Look out for a poster near you or search Cadbury Secret Santa to find out more. 18 plus, free service on selected products while stocks last until December the 24th. For full terms and conditions, visit cadbury.ie.
Introducing Flow for Men, my new fragrance collection of products created to keep you feeling fresh and looking sharp. The ideal gift for the man in your life. Find Flow in pharmacies nationwide or online at flowbybo.com. Start every day with confidence.
From the hard-working New Transit Custom to the new rugged Ford Ranger and the dependable all-new Transit Connect to the reimagined all-new Courier and our new all-electric e-Transit range. Our award-winning Ford Pro commercial vehicle range has now been fully buffed and upgraded. Come and take Ireland's best-selling Ford Pro range for a test drive today. Productivity never looks so good. Browse the full Ford Pro range or book your test drive on Ford.ie. Claim based on latest published SI/MI figures. Test drive subject to availability.
Ready to transform your smile? Discover the magic of Blue Poppy Dental in Letterkenny and Donegal Town. With implantologists, surgical and cosmetic dentists, orthodontists and an endodontist all under one roof, we've got all your dental needs covered. Starting your journey is easy. Call us on 074 91 20355 or book your appointment online anytime through our user-friendly patient portal at bluepoppydental.com. Blue Poppy Dental and Orthodontics, where smiles shine brighter.
A public interest message from Donegal County Council. Are you fire safe for Christmas and the New Year? Please ensure you have at least 2 working smoke alarms in your house and test them regularly. Christmas lights should be installed properly and sockets should not be overloaded. Remember to turn them off before you leave your house and at night time. Please use a fire guard on open fires when the room is not occupied. Have an evacuation plan for your home. If you have an elderly neighbour or relative, then why not check in on them? And remember, a smoke alarm is always a welcome gift. A happy and safe Christmas from Donegal Fire Service.
Live, on air, online and on the Highland Radio app. This is Highland Radio News.
Good morning, it's Donna Marie Doherty with the news at 10 o'clock. Gardaí are appealing for information in relation to a 25-year-old man who's been missing from Letterkenny since Saturday. Dahi Harvey is described as being 6 foot 1 inches in height with a medium build. He has short blonde hair and blue eyes. Gardaí and Dahi's family are concerned for his well-being. Anyone with information on his whereabouts is asked to contact Letterkenny Garda Station, the Garda Confidential line or any Garda Station. A second man in his 30s has been arrested in relation to an assault on 2 off-duty Gardaí in Dublin over the weekend. The incident happened in the city centre in the early hours of Saturday morning. Emily Keegan reports.
2 men have now been arrested following this attack on Dame Street at around 1:30 on Saturday morning. 2 off-duty Gardaí were taken to hospital following the assault. One aged in his 30s has since been discharged, while the other in his 40s remains in a critical condition. A man in his 30s was arrested as part of the investigation on Saturday evening and remains in Garda custody this morning. Another man, also aged in his 30s, is the second person to be arrested and is detained at a Garda station in the Dublin region. Investigations are continuing and Gardaí are appealing for any witnesses, particularly anyone with video footage, to contact them.
Calls have been heard to see surveys for sites being bought for social housing to be done in advance. A Letterkenny councillor fears that ambitious housing targets may not be reached because of delays in getting site investigations complete. Councillor Donald Coyle was speaking after members were told the plans are progressing for the construction of flagship projects at High Street and Ballymacool, but a number of surveys and investigations need to be completed before the work starts.
I do believe that some of the work could be done beforehand, in relation to the sites looked at, that investigations could be carried out, and in particular, like and access and all of that, which can be done by the council staff in relation to roads and that, and also surveys that can be carried out beforehand, before the actual site is bought.
We're being told it's still not too late to protect ourselves from the flu ahead of Christmas. Over 4,000 people were hospitalised because of flu in the last flu season, and the next one is set to peak in the coming weeks. The Irish Pharmacy Union says parents in particular should avail of the free nasal spray vaccine for their children. IAPU President, Donegal-based Tom Murray, says the more people who get the vaccine, the better the virus will be contained.
Unfortunately, 214 people died from flu last year, and flu is eminently avoidable by receiving the vaccine. It's not just about protecting yourself, it's actually the herd immunity, about protecting the public and those who may be at risk around you. Because by you being protected against flu, you also protect against the spread of flu to other more vulnerable people.
The government is ramping up public transport to meet rerouted passengers because of Holyhead's port closure. Ferry ticket holders have been encouraged to rebook alternative routes, as it's unknown when the port, which is closed due to damage caused by Storm Dara, will reopen. Junior Transport Minister James Lawless met with the Welsh Cabinet Secretary for Transport yesterday to discuss how many shipping containers are still at the port and how many passengers are affected by the closure. He says he's trying to organise which transport links will be available to people.
We want to make sure that we've got the trains and buses in place to meet those people when they arrive. And I asked Kent Skates on the Welsh side, could they do the same? So if somebody would have travelled to Holyhead by train before, can they now get a train or bus into Pembroke or Fishguard, for example? And we'll be making the same points to the UK Cabinet Secretary in terms of Liverpool and Birkenhead.
29 premises in Buncrana are set to remain without power for a total of 19 and a half hours. The fault was reported last evening at 7:25 and is estimated to be fixed at 3 o'clock this afternoon. ESB has apologised for the outage and says crews are working as quickly as possible to see electricity restored. Looking now to weather, a mix of sunny spells and scattered showers today. Highest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees. Winds will be strong at times near the west and north coasts. That's all for now from Highland Radio News. Back with headlines at 11 o'clock. The obituary notices this Monday morning, December 16th. The death has occurred of Florence Flor McBride ní Higgins, 1 Errigalview Letterkenny, formerly of Claremorris, County Mayo, reposing at the Eternal Light Chapel of Rest, Mountaintop, Letterkenny today from 4:30 until 6:30, where you're welcome to pay your respects, concluding with removal to St Eunan's Cathedral for reception prayers at 7 p.m. Reposing overnight for 11 a.m. Requiem Mass tomorrow, which can be viewed on churchservices.tv, followed by burial in Conwall Cemetery. Family flowers only, donations in lieu to the Donegal Hospice, care of Pascal Blake, funeral director. The death has taken place of Patsy Hegarty, Letter McKenny, Stranorler, formerly of Drumhumberland Convoy. His remains are reposing at his late residence today from 12 noon until 10 p.m, with rosary at 9 p.m. Funeral from there tomorrow morning at 10 a.m, going to St Mary's Church Convoy for 11 a.m. Requiem Mass, with interment afterwards in the new cemetery. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu of flowers if desired to Medical 3, Letterkenny University Hospital, care of any family member. Family time on the morning of the funeral, please. The death has occurred of Sean Moynihan, 56, Coolmore Road, Derry, formerly of Liscaveen, Killarney, County Kerry, reposing at his home. Removal from there tomorrow afternoon at 12:15, going to St Angus's Church, Burt, for Requiem Mass at 1 p.m, followed by interment in St Murray's Graveyard, Fawn. Family time, please, from 10 o'clock tonight. Family flowers only, please. Donations in lieu to St Patrick's Missionary Society, Kiltegan Fathers, care of any family member or Murphy Funeral Directors. The death has taken place of Gabrielle Farrell, née Farrell, 12 Dergalt Road, Strabane, reposing at her home. Funeral leaving there tomorrow morning at 9:20 for Requiem Mass in the Church of the Immaculate Conception, Strabane at 10 a.m. Family time please from 10 o'clock tonight. Requiem Mass can be viewed live via the parish webcam. Interment afterwards in Strabane Cemetery. Donations in lieu of flowers please to the Foyle Hospice, care of Quigley Funeral Directors. The death has taken place of Elizabeth Hannon, Ballyhan West, Greencastle. Elizabeth's remains will leave the Eternal Light Chapel of Rest, Mountaintop, Letterkenny today at 4 p.m, going to her home. Funeral from there on Wednesday at 10:20 for 11 a.m. funeral mass in St Columba's Church, Drung, followed by interment in Drung Cemetery. The funeral mass can be viewed live on stcolumbusdrung.net. Family time from 10 p.m. to 11 a.m. Family flowers only please. Donations in lieu if desired to Cancer Care West, care of any family member or Eamon McLaughlin Funeral Director. The death has taken place of Thomas Tommy McGowan, Bohillian Upper, Burt. Funeral service will take place at W.J. O'Brien and Sons Funeral Home, 110 Cluny Road, Eglinton, this afternoon at 2 p.m. Interment afterwards in Crossroads Presbyterian Church. Family flowers only please. Donations in lieu of flowers if wished to Letterkenny University Hospital. The death has occurred of Annie Hegarty, Creaslam Burnfoot, reposing at her home. Removal from there this morning at 10:15 to St Mura's Church, Fawn, for Requiem Mass at 11 a.m, followed by interment in the adjoining graveyard. Family flowers only please. Family time before the funeral this morning. The death has taken place of Brian Toland, Larden Ray Downings, reposing at the Church of St John the Baptist. Funeral Mass this morning at 11 a.m, followed by interment in the adjoining cemetery. The Mass can be viewed live on Meath Parish Facebook page. The death has taken place of Norman Wilson, Tully Mountain, Ramelton, reposing at his home. House private. Funeral service this afternoon at 1 p.m. in Letcher Presbyterian Church, Kilmacrennan. Burial afterwards in Bank Cemetery, Ramelton. Family flowers only. Donations if desired to the RNLI, care of any family member or Patrick Sweeney Funeral Directors. The death has taken place of Harry Malloy Money Dara Glenealy, reposing at his home. Funeral from there this morning at 10:20 for 11 a.m. funeral mass in St Mary's Church, Bocken, followed by interment in Bocken Graveyard. Funeral mass can be viewed on culdafparish.com. Family flowers only please. Donations in lieu if desired to Stroke Medical Rehab Unit, Letterkenny University Hospital, care of any family member or Eamon McLaughlin Funeral Director. The death has taken place of Audrey Alexander, Kenny Cally, St Johnston. Funeral service in St Johnston Presbyterian Church at 2 o'clock today, followed by burial in the adjoining cemetery. Family flowers only. Donations in lieu if wished to the Oncology Unit, Letterkenny University Hospital. House private. For family information and more details regarding wakes and funerals, please go to highlandradio.com.
And live score better at the post.
Total anticipation, total nerves, total adrenaline, total mayhem, total speed, total excitement, total heart, total bravery, total triumph, total celebration. Experience the total thrill of horse racing with Live Score Bet. Total betting. Bet responsibly. 18 plus gamblingcare.ie.
Okay, you're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio. Thanks for all your messages coming in so far this morning. Great show as usual this morning. John's horrific to hear that man on defending Israel actions. It's clear they've absolutely no regard for human life, is an opinion there. As my grandfather would have said, there's a few men that know what's going on in the world, and that's the bin man, the tradesman and the lorry man, for they see it all. And that's true what John is saying. Great show, Greg. That comes in from Gary. Thank you for that. On to other stuff. Nearly 200 vans, lorries and tractors raised just over €4,000 to be divided between the Blood Bikes and Donegal Hospice. Thanks for the help and support. Bernard Gallagher of CBM Signs. Well done, Bernard. There was a lot of great stuff when that happened over at the weekend. Bear, the guy behind the Bear Run. What those people do, if you follow them on social media, you will probably know. But they went down to Letterkenny University Hospital yesterday, and they brought all their fancy cars, Lamborghinis, and all types of vehicles to the hospital for the children. And they had all been fundraising and gathering up toys for children as well. And I saw an image of the toys that they'd gathered up. It was almost like a full warehouse of toys. And yesterday, with very little pomp or ceremony, they went to Letterkenny University Hospital, pulled up and distributed these toys and made for a fantastic experience for the young people and their families there, many of them going through a tough time at the moment. So fair play to Bernard, €4,000, that's amazing. And also fair play to Bear and the crew for what they did down at Letterkenny University Hospital yesterday. I had his company and his lovely partner's company at the weekend because me and Aisling went to the Blue Stack Foundation annual Purple Tie Ball in Jackson's Hotel in Ballybofey. A big thank you to Jackson's and the crew there who did an amazing job. But Wendy and the crew at the Blue Stack, it was just an amazing thing to be part of. We have supported the Blue Stack for years on this programme in their efforts to gather up funds and to keep doing the work that they do. And what was amazing was actually to see sort of firsthand the fruit of all their labour and all their efforts. They're based in Donegal. They're opening a facility in Letterkenny in the west of the county as well. But to see so many of their family, really, I suppose what they are primarily, but the service users and how they've progressed in their time in engaging with the Blue Stack Foundation. It's a wonderful organisation, and it was a wonderful night on Saturday night. And you know what was great? It got underway at 6, which was fantastic too. A lot of these things can start quite late, but it got underway at 6 as well, which was brilliant. Pedestrians, says the listener, are recklessly crossing the road. Super dangerous and frustrating for drivers. An early knocked a pedestrian down on Thursday night, turning into Lidl. Still shook about nearly hitting the woman and doesn't want to become a headline as she feels all the blame is on the driver in those kinds of instances. Right. Shortly, we're going to be crossing to Sinead Black and her dad Alec. I might have called him Ali. Did I call him? I beg your pardon. Sorry, no disrespect. Alec, of course. I know his name's Alec. Sinead Black and her dad Alec. They're going to be joining us live from Nazareth House in Fawn. Hopefully we'll get a chat to some of the residents and they'll get an opportunity to wish family and friends and loved ones happy birthday, no doubt. Happy Christmas, no doubt. And also we'll be making a little presentation as well. So that's all coming up. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
The county's #1 talk show, the 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
It's time for Vision Ireland Bingo on Highland Radio.
It's Monday, the 16th of December. You're playing on the green sheet. The reference number is S11. It's game number 51. The numbers are 33, 70, 58, 7, 73, 25, 21, 43, 1, and finally 14. Phone your claim to 9104833 before midnight, leaving your name, contact number and the name of the shop where you purchased your book, and we'll call you back the next working day. Get all your Vision Ireland bingo information at highlandradio.com.
That magical time of year once more, with mince pies and pudding and treats galore, taking pride of place by the twinkling tree. All you need to know about the season's TV. A world of entertainment wrapped up inside. Christmas begins with the RTE Guide.
If you're looking for a competitive insurance quote, contact Hickey Clark and Langan Insurance Brokers in Letterkenny. Home, car or van insurance, farm, commercial or public liability insurance. They compare quotes from all the leading insurers so you get a great price. Call Hickey Clark and Langan on 91 26688 or call into the office at Ballymacool, Letterkenny. Hickey Clark and Langan General Insurances Limited, trading as Hickey Clark and Langan, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Connect Hearing is open for free hearing tests. Our audiologist is available Monday to Friday for wax removal services at our Letterkenny Clinic in the Courtyard Shopping Centre. We also offer a home visit for those who are unable to visit us. Our hearing is our social sense. Are you finding hearing more of a challenge? Call Ursula today on 07491 13296 to make an appointment. Good hearing helps us to connect to our family, friends and loved ones. Connect Hearing, connecting you to life.
Nullag TFI, Keeleen sé sin nullag hanavach arista éantach le TFI. Le nísmó serví sin ná mar bhí an ríomh seo I réhéidir na nullag. Ná déon dearmid, is féidir leat na córta líp TFI a úsáid le haid tailí níos ísle. Agus is féidir gach thuras a flanáil an app TFI Live. Mar sin, buchas le fia go bhfuil sé ann. Sweeney TFI le haid the thuras éiltúla fádim lína. Le haid ólas herví sin nullag, pay chuig Transport for Ireland.ie.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
Okay, you're very welcome back to the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio, and very shortly we're going to be crossing to Nazareth House. I can't see my guests just yet, but I'm sure the camera will be switched on very, very shortly because we want to see what's going on there. So stay tuned for that. Right, okay. Let me see. Just a very quick reminder for you, by the way. We're into the last half an hour or so where you can get tickets for the big 6 draw giveaway, which is coming up for you this week. We will, of course, have €1,000 to. We'll have €1,000 to give away today on this show. Looking forward to that. And then, of course, we will have a car to give away, which is all very exciting. That's this day next week. And in between, another €4,000 on consecutive days. So if you want to be in all of those draws, please give us a call right now. Or go onto the website right now, highlandradio.com, or you can give us a call 07491 25,000, and we'll make sure you're in the big week of giveaways here on Highland Radio. Okay, I'm going to take a very short break, and then I'm going to cross over to Sinead and the team.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com. The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from €40,000 to €600,000 with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
It's not just that Sammy has had his world torn apart by the conflict. It's not just that he has lost everyone that he ever loved. And it's not just that Sammy is only 7 years old. Right now, children are being forced to live through unimaginable horrors in Gaza and around the world. And it's not just. This Christmas, your help could make all the difference. Visit trocra.org or call 1-800-408-408. Trocra. Together for a just world.
This December, Irwin Expert Electrical is your go-to for Christmas gifting. Find all the top brands: Apple, Samsung, Fitbit, Dyson, Ninja, Shark, LG and so much more, all at great prices. Looking for the perfect present? We've got it. And with our handy Christmas club, you can shop now and collect your gifts just in time for Christmas week. Irwin Expert Electrical, Letterkenny and Buncrana, making Christmas gifting easy this year.
Give the gift of beauty and rejuvenation this Christmas with the voucher from Genesis Aesthetics and Skincare Clinic Edore. Your loved one can choose from a range of transformative treatments, including PDO thread lifts and skin boosters designed to improve facial contours by lifting and tightening the skin. Also offering fat-dissolving treatments, dermal fillers and laser treatments for all skin concerns. Christmas party hair and makeup packages available. Secure your voucher at Genesis Aesthetics and Skincare Clinic Edore on 07495 325 75.
Get a grip on pitch with a pair of True Socks, the original premium grip sock. Grip socks matched up with footless socks in many colour options at Brian McCormick Sports. Football boots from Adidas and Puma. Save up to 30% on kids' boots this Christmas. Football gloves and accessories for all ages. Christmas gift ideas at bmcsports.ie with next day delivery.
Want highly reliable broadband for a great price? Get the 3 5G home broadband for just €20 a month for 12 months. Setup is easy. Simply plug in and go. Visit your local 3 store in Buncrana. Subject to coverage. Terms and conditions apply. Customer speed may vary. Ask in store for details.
Yeah, so we were talking about the damage to Holyhead that was inflicted by Storm Dara, and the ongoing impact it's having, not least in moving, goods around, but also people, including, I think, Stephen. Hiya, Stephen.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, Stephen. Right, you were about to set sail. What's the story?
Well, we've been over here for a couple of months, so we were due to sail from Dublin Port this evening to Holyhead.
Yeah.
Then a drive back to Manchester. Friday, I got a text message saying that the ferry had been cancelled. If we wanted to, we could drive down to Rosslare and go across to Pembroke, which is totally out of the question, really, being up in Carrickfinn.
That's what I was going to say. Just in terms of the geography of that, Stephen, for those who aren't aware, how much extra driving does that put on the trip back home?
Well, it's about a 3-hour drive to Dublin from here. I take my time, so it takes a bit longer, but it's a drive right down to Rosslare. I'm not even sure. I believe it's on the south coast.
Yeah.
Then across to Pembroke, which is South Wales, which would probably mean another, I don't know, 8-hour drive.
Yeah, I was going to say it's going to be 7 hours anyway up to Manchester from there. So that's no good. What are you going to do then?
Yeah. Well, fortunately, this was Irish Ferries. It's not their fault. They can't help things happening. But I got in touch with Stena, and I've managed to book Belfast to Liverpool for tonight. So, but it's an 8-hour sea crossing. I'm not the best of sailors, so I'm just going to have to buckle down and try and go to sleep for 8 hours.
I know it's terribly inconvenient, isn't it? But it just gives us an example of what's going on then.
Yeah. All right, Irish Ferries will refund our return fare, but it's cost me more to go Belfast to Liverpool. It's because it's a one-way ticket. It costs more than a return ticket. So
yeah. All right. Did you have a good time here? You were over for a good while anyway, Stephen, so obviously you've got good strong connections to the area.
My wife's from Carrickfinn. I've been looking after mother-in-law in Letterkenny. She's had an operation on her eye, so my wife stayed over from about, I think it was about May she came across. I nipped home and then came back in September. But unfortunately, 3 weeks ago, my wife fell and broke her arm. So I've had trips backwards and forwards to Letterkenny Hospital and all sorts. But apart from that,
been a quiet enough 2024 other than that. All right, Stephen. Well, best wishes in your wife's recovery and her mum's recovery as well. And we hope all's well. Safe journey back. Mind yourself and have a very happy Christmas, Stephen, to you and yours.
And you. Thank you very much.
God bless you, Stephen.
Bye now.
Take care. Right, okay. This week we are going around the county out and about for various reasons. We're going into residential settings for older people. And also, too, we'll be going into a school tomorrow. Lee Gooch is going to be on the show. But for now, we're heading to Nazareth House in Faughan. And there, waiting to chat to us, is Sinead Black, who's accompanied by her dad, Alec. Good morning to you, Sinead.
Good morning. Good morning, Greg. Can you hear me?
I can. There's a bit of an echo there, Sinead. I don't know if the speaker needs turning down a little bit, but I heard the enthusiasm and I felt the love.
Absolutely, we're delighted. We're out and about, as you said, all around, and we're going to be spreading some festive cheer. And first stop this week is a lovely Nazareth House. It looks lovely and festive here. We've lots of Christmas trees and artwork all around, and I'm delighted to see all the patients have dressed up as well for our arrival today. So we're going to speak to some of the patients as well, and as you can see, I have my right-hand man with me. Daddy's going to sing a song for them this morning too.
Okay, so who have you got to say hello to, Sinead?
Well, first up, we have a lovely lady here, Frances, who would like to say hello to some people. Where are you from, Frances?
I'm from Clonmany.
Absolutely. And Frances was telling me earlier, Greg, that she owned a lovely shop in Clonmany many years ago, and what a lovely name it was. Would you like to tell?
Snowflake.
That's right. And have you anyone you'd like to say hello to, Frances?
I'd like to say hello to all my friends and all my friends in Cairn and Clonmany.
That's right, and all your family in England as well.
In England, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Frances. Looking very festive as well. And as I says, it's a lovely name of a shop, Snowflake. She was telling me that she owned in Clonmany many years ago too. So it was lovely to talk to you, Frances. And can you hear me, Greg? Is all
I
okay?
can hear you clear now. We've got rid of that echo, Sinead.
We're all good
you're
to
a
go.
trooper.
So we're going to speak to Chris now, who is the manager here in Nazareth House. So, Chris, don't be shy now. Don't be shy. You have a Christmas tree in your head.
Sinead,
Don't be
I don't
shy.
have any voice today now.
That's all right. We'll get it out.
I won't be singing.
No, well, we'll leave the singing to Daddy. But how are you? Happy Christmas.
And happy Christmas to you all.
I'm sure the festivities are well underway here at Nazareth House.
They've been partying now for 3 weeks.
Absolutely. So tell us a little about what you do here around Christmas.
Well, we usually, every place always invites us out. We had the Red Door, we had the Gateway, and
Lovely.
we have choirs all this week from every school, which is brilliant, and they all love this.
Yeah.
So and they have their own Christmas 2 days here, Christmas dinners.
2 days of Christmas.
days of
Not
Christmas.
one at all.
2 Santas.
Very good. Very good. And so we're going to sing a little song for you, and then we might have a wee present or two for you. Is that okay? So without further ado, we're going to get Daddy to sing along. I'd love you to sing along now if you know the words. I'll get the band in check here.
All right, brilliant stuff. And just as soon as they get all set up and ready to go, well, here we go.
If you know the words, we'd like to hear you all sing along. I'll have a blue Christmas without you. I'll be so blue thinking about you. Decorations of red on a green Christmas tree won't mean a thing, dear, if you're not here with me. And when those blue snowflakes start falling, that's when those blue heartaches start calling. You'll be doing all right with your Christmas of white, but I'll have a blue, blue Christmas. Wanna hear y'all sing this time? I'll have a blue Christmas without you. I'll be so blue thinking about you. Decorations of red on a green Christmas tree won't mean a thing, dear, if you're not here with me. And when those blue snowflakes start falling, Have a blue, blue Christmas.
Well done, folks.
Alex
well
Black.
done, well done. Great singing along there. Well, there's no Blue Christmas here in Nazareth House today. If you've just joined us, we are live spreading the Christmas cheer. Are we all having fun? Absolutely. Now, we're going to speak I'm not sure who we're going to speak to. Chris is designating all these hard jobs to other people today. Grace Boyle. Give her a round of applause, everybody. Now, they weren't aware, and it was lovely to give Chris the lovely surprise, but we are here not to just spread Christmas cheer. And if you're listening at home, it's a lovely way, and just a small reminder, wherever you may be listening, driving along on your radio or at work today, to be kind and to spread Christmas cheer, exactly what the nurses do here, and through their Comfort Fund. And here at Highland Radio, we're delighted to present you a €500 donation towards your Comfort Fund. So thank you very much. And can maybe for listeners at home who might not have an insight to what the Comfort Fund entails, do you want to just explain that, Grace?
Well, the Comfort Fund here, we would aim to bring the residents out, different days out, different trips out, places that they want to go, we'd kind of take a wee vote and see where we're going. So that would all be down to that. Stop on the way there for some tea. Obviously stop on the way back for some tea during the summer, stopping for ice cream.
Can I come as well?
You can come, of course. Yeah, or exactly, or Andy, one of the locals maybe on the way down for a wee sherry or something like that, And again, everything down to a wee foot still, anything at all that,
Yeah, things within the home here as well. Well, that's lovely. So we wish you all the extras. Have a cup of tea or two on Highland today. Absolutely, thank you. Well, thank you for your work, Grace. Well, the boss for Grace, thank you.
Sinead,
now we're going to keep going.
Is there anything else we've got for them? Flowers? No, is there? Do we have flowers?
Yeah.
Oh,
And we're going to speak to a patient as well. We'll do that
sorry.
as well.
Okay,
Don't
my
you worry,
mistake.
Greg, you're keeping me in check. Now, who have we got here? Good morning. What's your name?
Brian.
Sorry.
Brian Dugan.
Brian Dugan. Where are you from, Brian?
From
Up the road.
up the road, Buncrana.
Buncrana. Good man. Is there anyone you want to say hello to who's listening on the radio today?
Oh, well, all my friends
And all your family.
my family.
Yeah, very good. And are you having a nice Christmas here?
Oh, yeah, very nice.
Good. Well, thank you for speaking to us today, Brian. Thank you. And we have a lovely lady here as well, all in her festive jumper. Lissy, you're well turned out today, Lissy. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
You're very cheery looking this morning.
Oh, thank you very much.
Where are you from?
I'm from Orris, Kilmany.
Oh, Orris and Kilmany. No hesitation about that. Huh? Good Kilmany woman.
Yes.
Are you having a good time here, Lissy, at Nazareth House?
Very good to me.
Are the staff good?
Oh, great.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Very
great.
good.
Some of them too good.
Too good. No, you can never be too good, huh? And are you enjoying the festivities for Christmas here?
Yes.
Yeah, well, you're definitely looking very festive this morning anyway.
yes.
Thank you. Will you help me sing in a wee while?
I'll try.
Jingle bells.
I'll try.
Try. Okay. Thank you, Lissy. Lovely to talk to you. As you can see, Greg, and there's lots of happy faces around here today. We're going to finish off with a lovely song to hand you back to studio. But just before we do, we have another presentation.
Oh,
to
do
give,
we?
courtesy of our sponsors, Alcorns. Isn't this just a wonderful, Chris? We'd like to give this to you and all the residents here. This is sponsored, and what a lovely, I know many of the people who have everything, and sometimes this is something that may not be lovely Christmas present. I was thinking it's just, and it would be lovely, lovely centerpieces, right? A lovely centerpiece for your Christmas dinner. So courtesy of our good friends at Alcorns, please enjoy. Thank you very much. Thank you for your lovely warm welcome here now.
Brilliant stuff.
Now we're all going to, now have we any nurses to dance? I'm sure we do. Look, we've a wee dance floor and all here. Yeah, go ahead. We're going to leave you with a lovely jolly song. Do tune back in tomorrow. Thank you, Greg.
Thanks, Sinead. Thanks, Alec.
Dashing through the snow on a one-horse
bobtails ring, making spirits bright. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse. Let's hear you sing now. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Come on, now you could be dancing. Good man, Martin. Here we go now. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Now a day or two ago, she thought I'd take a ride, and soon our bunny bride was seated by my side. The horse was leaning like misfortune seemed his lot. We got into a drifted bank and then he got upset. Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Merry Christmas, everybody! Thank you.
Sinead, thank you very much indeed. That was fantastic. Really appreciate it. And that is Sinead and her dad, Alec, as well, doing a fantastic job there. Live from Nazareth House in Fawn. And thank you to the wonderful people, Chris, etc., who hosted us today. It's been fantastic to be there. And I hope you enjoyed that as well. And great to hear from those living there and their plans for Christmas. We've 2 more visits to make this week as well, because on Wednesday we're heading to Buncrana, to the Buncrana Community Hospital up at McGinn Avenue there in Buncrana, and we're looking forward to that as well. And on Thursday we're going to the Archview Lodge Nursing Home, Drummond in Letterkenny, so we're skirting around the county. And Sinead and Dad Alec and Joe Engineering will be in those places a little later on. We also are out and about tomorrow. I don't quite know where we are because it's a little bit of a secret, but suffice to say Lee Gooch will be joining us, and we'll be having lots of crack with Lee as well. And coming up on Thursday, I've been asked to mention that there'll be a coffee morning this Thursday morning in the Red Door Farm. It's from 10:30 a.m. until 1 p.m, and which is great. All funds are in aid of Nazareth House. Okay, so that's another Nazareth House connection. That's a coffee morning Thursday in the Red Room Farm, 10:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. Get along to that if you wish. Right, €1,000 being given away before 12. So if you've bought a ticket either today or at any stage since we launched the car draw, you're in the draw drum. I'm sitting looking at it. Those watching are looking at it too. Someone in there is about to win €1,000. That's coming up in the next hour. Do we have a little bit of time left on the lines? Do we? Right. Okay. Very briefly, I'll just give you the lay of the land, and then I won't keep on about it, but it's just to give everyone who wants to get in an opportunity. There's 20 minutes now to go. The lines close at 11 o'clock. Now, we have over €35,000 in cash and cars to give away this week. It is the bumper week of the Christmas car draw. €1,000 to give away today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the car itself on Monday. Someone can come in, they'll have won it on Monday, they can come in and sit in it, it's theirs, but we're going to put it on brand new 251 plates as well too, which is what I would want, and I'm sure the winner would want, and then it's free for them to enjoy all forever, effectively. It's a beautiful car. But if you want to be in all 6 draws, you have 20 minutes. So you can get onto the website, highlandradio.com, or if you prefer, give us a call here, 07491 25000. You have 20 minutes to get your ticket. It's €15 for a ticket. I can't emphasise enough, please only buy a ticket if you have the spare cash and you can have a bit of fun with it because it's your money, right? And you work hard for it. You can also buy 5 tickets for 50 if you want to group with other people. Maybe there's 5 of you in the house. Why not save for 5 for a ticket? You get where I'm coming from? But anyway, you've got until 11. The draw drum closes. The trombola then will be spun and we'll have a €1,000 winner today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then a beautiful car to give away next Monday. And all of the winners have been local. And I've emphasised this enough. This is our competition for us here. No, there are massive organisations that do competitions, and they're across Britain, Ireland, Northern Ireland, everywhere in the world. And you can enter this wherever you are in the world. But because we're a community radio station, the majority of winners, all of the winners, as far as I can see, are all, people from this area. All right, okay. Not that sounds like I'm being too parochial, but you know what I'm on about, don't you? Right, I'm going to take a break because we are heading towards our next item. Still reeling from the joy that was Nazareth House at Nazareth House in Fawn. And just to remind you, on Wednesday we're back out again at Buncrana Community Hospital.
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union, offering low-rate car loans with fast approval. Apply online at letterkennycu.ie or in office today.
Looking for the perfect spot to celebrate Christmas lunch? Join us at the ESIS Centre, air code F93 F104, for a festive Christmas lunch. Celebrate the season in our special surroundings. A delicious 3-course Christmas lunch plus tea and coffee, serving on Thursday and Friday the 12th and 13th. Bring family, friends, colleagues and the holiday spirit. Book your table today on 07493 848866. That's the ESIS Centre for your Christmas lunch.
Ho, 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 ho. Santa Claus speaking.
It's me, Santa, your trusty elf. I've got an urgent message from Cooney's Christmas shop.
Oh, my golly goodness. What's happening at Cooney's?
Well, Santa, they've gone all out this year. Their Christmas decor is bigger and better than ever.
Visit Cooney's Christmas shop, Letterkenny Retail Park, and feel the magic of Christmas. Santa approved.
I'm a Christmas fairy, and if there's one thing I know about, it's giving presents. So, how about an M&S shortbread biscuit tin that's shaped like a tree and projects a little Merry Christmas onto the table? Or the Happy Christmas chocolate box with festive-shaped chocolates, truffles and caramels. Or the Quattro chocolate panettone, that means 4 types of chocolate, by the way, made with honey in the dough. Can't go wrong. These are not just gifts. These are M&S Christmas gifts. Selected stores.
Get your hands on the hottest gifts for everyone on your list this Christmas at Michael Murphy Sports, like the new Donegal GAA jersey, or check out the new Dynamo range of GAA leisure wear and training gear for all ages. You'll also find the Northwest's biggest selection of rebounders and goalposts. Shop in store and online at michaelmurphysports.ie.
You might think it's just a cold, but for adults over 60, it could be more. RSV, or respiratory syncytial virus, is highly contagious and can cause serious complications, like pneumonia or breathing problems. If you're over 60 and have other health conditions, your risk may be even higher. Stay informed. Protect your health by knowing the risks of RSV. Talk to your healthcare professional for information on RSV vaccination. This message is supported by Pfizer Healthcare Ireland.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Find the perfect present for everyone on your list this festive season. Discover the joy of gifting and make Christmas magical with McElhenney's Ballybuffet. Visit us in-store or online at mcelhenneys.com.
Rightio, let's get to the weather forecast. It is much milder, I did note, and it's going to get breezy. And as I said a little earlier on, it's seeming increasingly unlikely that we'll have a white Christmas, which is good if we have to move around the place, I think. Although it's nice, you know yourself, it's a mixed bag. And it's a mixed bag today, a mix of sunny spells and scattered showers, highest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees, in moderate, locally fresh and gusty southwest winds. Winds will be strong at times near the west and north coasts. Catherine McGlynn is from the very popular social media channel We Love Donegal, and we all love Donegal. Good morning, Catherine.
Hi, Greg.
How are you getting on?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good. You posed a question on social media, and it's one of those things, isn't it? Lots of people take an interest, and it was a simple one, wasn't it, the question?
Yeah. I do a thing every morning on Twitter, or now X,
Yeah.
and it's just basically if we're in Donegal, so I put a picture of somewhere in Donegal and people guess where it is. So it kind of promotes the county too, because people see various places, and I mean, like all of us, there's places we might not have seen before, even if we live here. So it's good that way too, so it gets chat going. So anyway, one of the ones I had was a beach called Port Arthur in Gweedore, and it just occurred to me, my brain was like, I wander along, and I thought, I wonder why it's called Port Arthur. So I put it on X, and nobody really knows. The only thing we can come to is that it might have been named after the infamous landlord, George Hill, of the area at the time, because his second child was a boy called Arthur, who eventually became a captain in the British Army. And it's the only connection we can think of that it might be. Now, I'm sure you know about George Hill. He started the first hotel in Donegal, and that's where Anchorage Hotel is now. But he had very famous visitors. The museum has the guest book up there and worth having a look at, the likes of Oscar Wilde's father and so on. But anyway, he was married to a niece of, he was actually married to two different nieces of the writer Jane Austen. But his first wife, Cassandra, was the mother of this Arthur Hill. And it's the only thing we can think of. I mean, it's near Carrickboyle, if you know where that is. It'd be about a kilometre, and it would be sort of, say, 6 kilometres north of Marragallen Beach, the famous Bodeddy Beach in Bombay. So, but even on old maps, we can't get it to read anything other than it's just a beach, and then Carrickboyle is nearby. So I just thought maybe some of the listeners to your show would know what the original name is, because it obviously wasn't Port Arthur.
Yeah, well, we have, you know yourself, Catherine, we've a great interest in our history in this county, and one of our most popular items on the show actually is Talking History with Dr. Joe Kelly. Robert was on to us, and he says that George Arthur, who you referenced, I think, George Arthur was an officer in the English army during Napoleonic times. He went on to be a colonel admin, most notable in Canada and Tasmania, where he established penal colonies. Port Arthur in Tasmania is named after him, George Arthur. But Robert goes on to say, I have no idea why an area in Donegal is so called.
No, he's not George Arthur, he's Arthur Hill. George is the man who said the message. But yeah, I saw that. Okay, but I just thought. I mean,
Sorry, is it Robert Rowlett George? Did I? Is the man of this? This is why.
Maybe Robert has a beach named after him somewhere.
Catherine, this is why spacing is so important here, because I've got Robert Rowlett and then George Arthur. Anyway, you're there to keep me straight. So Arthur, right? That's Arthur Hill who you reference. So Port Arthur in Tasmania, we would agree that Port Arthur in Tasmania is named after him, according to Robert George. But we're not quite sure if the beach in Donegal is named after him. I mean, it's a working theory, but are you dismissing that? Are you taking it on board? Is it a maybe, as they say on A Place in the Sun? Is it a contender?
No. Can I phone a friend who knows? No, no, I would say the chances are it is named after him, because you know the way people name things after themselves to make them even more important. But
of course.
I just think it's the only connection we can make to it. So, and given the fact, of course, his father was the landlord at the time, it seems likely. But I'm sure there's people who must know what it was called. A couple of my followers on Twitter have given me Gaelic names, but that even finding them on the maps, it isn't exactly where this Port Arthur beach
so
is.
we really now, the proper mystery is, what was it called beforehand? It's like, you know, what did the natives Australians call their country before it was discovered for them? Right? It's kind of like that there, isn't it? So what was Port Arthur called before an ego trip from Arthur Hill to call it after himself?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's not that long ago, because it's only That Arthur Hill, I think, only died in 1923. He was born in 1837. I think he was born in, he was born in, Gartley House there, beside the old Oakfield factory. He was born there, and they lived there. He lived there with Cassandra, his wife, his mother, who was the niece of Jane Austen. So I don't know, Greg. It's just, yourself. I think you're as bad as me with your brain, that you think something and then you pick at it, and that's what I'm doing, because there has to be an answer.
And you know
We
another
just need
thing
to
as
know
well, Catherine? It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's a little mystery, and it's not serious, and it's not about really bad things. It's just a little mystery to get to the bottom of, and I love this kind of stuff, Catherine. And I love your Twitter as well, your ex-channel, We Love Donegal, and you referenced this a little earlier on. I would describe it sort of like passive promotion as well, right? It's a bit of fun, but people don't realise they're being exposed to the beauty of either their own county or a county that they can come and visit as well. So it's got that.
But really, I started the site in 2004, and it was solely to show photographs of Donegal and how beautiful it is. I mean, I'm not promoting any person or any place. I do the whole of Donegal. I take photographs, 20 years of taking photographs of every part of Donegal, and I just put photographs out there to let people see.
I know what's happening, Catherine, here, and you're not going to pull the wool over my eyes. You've forgotten the names of the places, and really what you're doing is trying to... No, listen to me. Right, you've got these 15, 20 years of photos, and you're going, bloody, I wonder where I took that one. And you use X to try and fill in the blanks. Tell the truth.
Oh, that is so true. Actually, Greg, I came on. I am trying to sort files of photographs,
yes, exactly.
and I have millions of them.
Do you know what you're like?
You could do that now,
no,
Greg, in your spare time.
You're like. You're like, do you know that thing you have to find the fire hydrants for Google before you can get onto a website? That's what you're doing.
No, I don't know that one, and I really don't want to. My head is full of enough rubbish.
You know what I'm on about.
Had to put.
Do you know when you have to prove
you're
human?
File on. I know, but I found a file one day, and I was going through it, and I was saying, where is that? And I couldn't think, because God knows when. And I actually put it on Twitter and said, can somebody actually tell me where this is, like, really? So it was in Inishowen, and people told me, so it was very good. We got to the bottom of it. Of course, then I forgot to write it down.
Is it easy for you to pick one of... I'm not saying to pick your favourite place in Donegal, but because that's just going to be too much of a challenge. But do you have a default sort of a go-to happy place that you go, right, I want to go there, this is...
I absolutely love Fintra Beach, and I love Rossbeg Beach. And I don't know, I couldn't pick one place. I love Donegal.
Yeah. You should name it. Oh, you already did. Okay. Listen, Catherine, thanks for that. We're going to try and get to the bottom of this mystery for the crack. Thanks, Catherine. Keep up the great work.
That's great.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you, Greg.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Happy Christmas,
Bye-bye.
Catherine. Catherine McGlynn there of the X-Stroke Twitter handle, We Love Donegal. So really the question is we've got a working theory as to why Port Arthur is called Port Arthur. We think it was a bit of a ego massaging from Arthur Hill. He was an officer in the English Army, wasn't he? So really, what was it called beforehand? What did we call it before someone came along and decided to name it for us? If you know the answer, and speculation is fine as well, get in touch with us, 086 60 25,000. We were talking a lot about speed last week and about what we can do about speed. It was off the back, really, of a conversation that the RSA are planning to introduce speed awareness courses, whereby rather than getting 3 points and a fine, you'd pay to go on this speed awareness course. And there's different views on that. But a caller says we should be putting speed limiters on all cars, just like lorries. Another listener says, why do they not have a couple of classes in first, third and fifth year during the civic classes at school on the dangers of the roads, especially the effects it has on families who lose loved ones? It's all about penalties, but not about loss or grief. And if you educate the children before they drive, that awareness will always be in their heads. It's a nut we've yet to crack. Because even we sort of go down the route of the shock and awe, which I can understand why we do that. because are we failing maybe to instill responsibility in the natural position that, something bad could happen, I could injure myself, I could kill somebody else. So we seem to go to the shock and awe because maybe the education side of it isn't working, or maybe we're not doing enough. I don't know. But we've more comments carried over from last week in relation to that, and much more besides. We're going to be reflecting on a brilliant season for Downings. Maureen was down there on co-coms with Porrick in Parnell Park as Downings and Nadunav fell just at the final hurdle, but we'll be able to reflect on an amazing season full of silverware. We'll have a chat with Maureen after these.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union. Simplify your debts with a debt consolidation loan from Letterkenny Credit Union. Call us on 074 910 2126 or apply online via our app or in office today.
This holiday season, don't let the stress of getting to the airport ruin your festive spirit. With Free Now, you can pre-book your taxi and focus on what truly matters, celebrating with loved ones. We promise to get you to the airport on time, every time. And if we don't, we'll make it right, because your trust is our priority. So relax and let Free Now handle the ride. Geographical restrictions and terms and conditions apply. Selected airports only. Vouchers must be used within 1 month of issue. Visit our website for more details.
At Londis, we wish our customers in Donegal a very happy Christmas. We know what locals want because we are local like you. Even as local as Lough Swilly on a beautiful crisp winter's day. Happy Christmas from Londis.
Do you suffer from high cholesterol, menopause symptoms, digestive issues, anxiety, aches and pains, or a lack of energy? The highly trained team at The Natural Way Letterkenny can provide advice on natural remedies for a number of individual health issues. The Natural Way also has its own brand of herbal treatments to help fight fatigue, relieve digestive discomfort, maintain a healthy immune system, and alleviate common menopause symptoms. The Natural Way at Letterkenny Shopping Centre, your one-stop health shop.
Christmas bingo this Monday night at Halfway House, Burnfoot. Doors open at 7:30 with eyes down at 8:30. €2,500 must go. The snowball is now €1,000 on 45 numbers or less, with €1,000 extra on the 5th page. That's Halfway House Christmas bingo tonight at 8:30.
A message from Donegal County Council and the Donegal Road Safety Working Group. This Christmas and New Year, the key message to all motorists is never ever drink or drug drive, because the consequences for you and others can be life-changing. At best, you risk losing your licence. At worst, you could be responsible for someone's death or serious injury. Remember, if you drink or have taken drugs, never drive. Even one drink will affect your driving. Plan alternative ways to get home before you go out. Designate someone who has not been drinking or taken drugs. Arrange a taxi. Ask a family member or another driver to pick you up. Let's make our roads safer for everyone.
The county's #1 talk show, The 9 till noon show on Highland Radio.
It's 11 o'clock, time to get a news update. Let's say good morning to Donna Marie Doherty.
Thanks, Greg. Good morning. Gardaí are appealing for information in relation to a 25-year-old man who's been missing from Letterkenny since Saturday. Dahi Harvey is described as being 6 foot 1 inches in height with a medium build. He has short blonde hair and blue eyes. Gardaí and Dahi's family are concerned for his well-being. 600,000 litres of water is being saved daily after a major leak in southwest Donegal has been repaired. The savings made by fixing the leak in Brookles equates to the same amount of water to supply the population of Donegal Town and Kellybegs on a daily basis. The issue was rectified under the National Leakage Reduction Programme. Rescue efforts are underway in the French territory of Mayotte after a powerful cyclone which may have killed up to 1,000 people. Winds of more than 200 kilometres per hour ripped through the island and the Indian Ocean over the weekend in what was the strongest storm to hit the area in decades. Emergency workers have been deployed from France and the nearby territory of Reunion to find survivors and restore services. The government is ramping up public transportation to meet rerouted because of Holyhead's port closure. Ferry ticket holders have been encouraged to rebook for alternative routes, as it's unknown when the port, which closed due to damage caused by Storm Dara, will reopen. Stephen, who's been staying with family in Carrickfinn in Donegal, had to instead opt to travel via Belfast to Liverpool to return home to Manchester, as his initial ferry was rerouted to Rosslare in County Wexford. He told Greg Hughes on this morning's 9 till Noon show he'll now be out more money for having to change travel company. And finally, the Israeli ambassador to Ireland claims the country's attitude towards Israel is extreme, even within the EU. The comments followed the state's decision to close its embassy in Dublin, citing double standards and anti-Semitic rhetoric from Irish government. The Taoiseach and Taoiseach have both rejected the claims. That's all for now from Highland Radio News. We'll be back again at 12 noon.
Thank you very much indeed, Donna Marie.
Get into the festive spirit with amazing Christmas value at Aldi. We have a full range of 100% Irish and Board Bia quality assured turkeys in store from December 20th. Slow-grown bronze whole turkeys reared in County Monaghan. A range of fresh turkey crowns. And Butcher's Selection whole turkeys, starting from just $8.99 to give you the best value this Christmas. Aldi, have a cracking Christmas while stocks last.
Eileen in Gweedore is with me. Hi, Eileen.
Hello, Greg. Lovely to talk with you.
Lovely to talk to you too. You sound full of the joys of spring and also in the depths of winter, Eileen. How are you keeping?
Well, I always try to stay happy is the only way.
Well, my mood's already lifted and I've only said hello to you. Right, so we were talking about Port Arthur and its name. Talk to me. You've been doing your research.
Yes, because I would have been asked as well, because I uploaded hundreds of photographs of Port Arthur on my own profile page and other pages like Visit Donegal, and so I would get queries as well. So I looked it up in Google because it didn't tell us why the local one was called Port Arthur, but I heard my father telling me when I was a child, and plenty of other neighbours as well, because I had a curious mind even when I was young, that there was a great battle. So I have Google here in front of me. The battle conflict was in February 1904. It was the beginning of the Russian-Japanese War, and anybody who wants more details can Google it. But they were building this, constructing it probably is the word, this bridge here in Gweedore at that time. And just the locals, because the war was, this big war was topical talk, and they just decided to nickname the local pier Port Arthur. It's just as simple as that. I doubt very much it would be called after an Englishman. Not a blooming chance.
And Eileen, but the area in which this pier is constructed, does it have its name? So Port Arthur, is that the nickname for the pier or this construction? But in which, I think also we're trying to get to the bottom of what the original name may be. But I suppose if it's about the structure, sure, the structure, we can timeline that to 1900 whatever it is.
Yeah, it was the time that probably the pier would be just called the pier. I've never heard anything called anything but Port Arthur. But it would be Carrickboyle, as the lady said. I never heard it called Carrickboyle Pier. I really don't know the answer to that
but
one.
The pier,
but
the location, the bay in which the pier is located.
Yeah, well,
what's the name of it?
Inishmaan, the island of Inishmaan is right out in front of it.
Eileen, you're skirting around it and you're not answering the question.
And I'm not. I've never heard it called anything but Port Arthur, because it would be kind of difficult because there are so many townlands kind of edging into that area.
Mm-hmm.
There is no specific name it could be called. Truly, I suppose it was easier to give it a nickname. There's one along the road, along the beach there in Margalhan, and they just call that one the new pier, because there was an old pier, and that shows that how do you call? They just don't call it. They just call it by local, wherever it happens to be built. And that shows you with the new pier in Margallahan, they couldn't really think of a name, so they just called it the new pier.
So if I said to you, Eileen, I want to come and visit Port Arthur Pier, where is Port Arthur?
It's a mile outside Derrybeg going northwards, and you just turn a left down one of the side roads. I'm sure it comes up on
Google Maps. You
Google
love Google,
or whatever.
Now, come here. Thank you so much for that, Eileen. Are you all set are you looking forward to Christmas? All set for it, or?
Not particularly.
Right, okay.
I have no family left, so it's kind of lonesome. But my neighbours are very good to me.
Yes. And do you listen to us, Eileen?
Never off, Greg.
Well, where are your
all
family,
through
Eileen?
the night.
I'm your family,
Pardon?
Eileen. I'm your family too, then.
Sure,
so.
I know that.
Okay,
sure, I know that.
Right, you're never
Highland, all the guys in Highland.
Exactly.
I'll say thank you to all of them now. Bernard Harper, Rosemary, and Aidan Murphy would be three of my favourites, as well as you,
Brilliant.
of course.
Oh, thanks, Eileen. Anytime you want to chat, just give us a buzz.
Well, I probably made a fool of myself, but who
What
cares?
do you mean, Eileen? No, hold on. You get out of that. You did not. Not at all, Eileen. I've genuinely loved chatting to you.
Thank you, Greg. I know you're a lovely person and a great guy on Highland. Sure, we would be lost without you.
All right, you say that. Listen, Maureen, I'm talking to Maureen next. Eileen, thank you so very much indeed, okay? And happy Christmas. And I'll be thinking on you on Christmas Day. Is that all right?
Lovely. Thank you,
all
too.
right.
And happy Christmas
Happy
to
Christmas,
everyone
Eileen.
I know that's listening. Thank you.
Take care of yourself. God bless you. That's Eileen there. I mentioned Maureen O'Donnell, Highland Radio Sports. She was down in Parnell Park, co-coms. Good morning, Maureen. How are you getting on?
Good morning, Greg. I'm doing good.
Good stuff. Thanks so much for sparing the time out of your busy day. Just reflecting on the big game of the weekend from a local perspective. Downing's ladies, they were beaten in the end by Mungret St Paul's of Limerick in yesterday's All-Ireland Junior Ladies Club final at Parnell Park. And hopefully they can sort of reflect on the season and the silverware and take a great deal of comfort for that. But you know yourself, often, Maureen, and I've talked to Brendan Devaney about this, it's often the games you lose that you remember. But hopefully the girls take a great deal of pride and joy from the season that they've had.
Yeah, absolutely. What you said is 100%, and I know Brendan will concur. But I think there's a lot of learning from the games you lose as well. So, and I said to Julie Trudy after yesterday, she was hugely disappointed. Barney as well. And it's hard to hear from a player's perspective after you've just lost probably one of the biggest outings of your life, which is the cup. It's hard to, coming from another person, it's hard to say. You don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear that. Look, you've had a great year and all of that, but it's only when you reflect back as a player myself. That's for intercom there, Greg. I was busy school here, but when you reflect back as a player yourself, and I think this will happen. They will take time and see that listen, they're the second best team in the country at the minute as it stands. Look, if they had said that to themselves at the beginning of the year, they'd be saying you're off your head. But they are, and that's the stats. They were in the final. Now they were probably up against a better team, maybe due to the grading, but we can talk about that. But out of 12 games this year, they've 11 wins and one loss. So for me, I think from looking in, and for all the supporters and the families and everybody like yourselves looking in and the whole county, what an achievement. Yeah. I mean, an absolute achievement. They started off in championship in August, and to get to this level and where they got, it's phenomenal, and I think that they should be so proud of themselves, Greg.
Oh yeah, because just the joy that they've brought to obviously your own parish, but what happens is people around then start getting on the journey with you, don't you? And especially so deep into December, the whole county took an interest in it yesterday. And there's levels in everything, Maureen, isn't there? There's levels in boxing, in athletics and what have you. And, the Downings team are amazing in what they've achieved. But I don't know if it's they had more senior players on their team or what have you. But St. Paul's they just seem just a little bit better on the day, if that makes sense. And it's hard to say that without it sounding disrespectful to Dannings, because I thought they were amazing all season. But there's just levels there sometimes.
There is, and you have to compare the profile of players that were out in the pitch yesterday. And yes, there was a level of, probably more experience in the Mungret and Paul's team. They were a lot older as a players, which is a good thing for Downies, because those Downies players aren't going anywhere for a number of years. So when you look at what they've achieved this year and what they can only achieve in the future, it's unbelievable. So maybe St Mungrets were a team that are there are a lot of their girls maybe near the end of their careers as well. And you see that happening. But, the positive to take from that is that Downies will be there, and they'll be there next year. And that loss yesterday, as I said to them, will stand to them now going into the Intermediate Championship next year. Now, what happened with St Paul's Mungrets is that they're intermediate at club level. So they're sitting in the second tier when they're playing in their county. And often because of gradings within the JA, they then went into junior grading. And that, they say, is to make things fair, because they don't have a very competitive county championship. So, but when you look at it, they're probably a team that were more suited to an intermediate grading. And that's something I think they need to get spend a wee bit more time on and get right. So, there's some consolation maybe in that too as well. Maybe there's a bit of unfairness there as well, when they look back. But listen,
But on the day too, though Maureen, again, and sort of where they'll reflect and move forward, even with the advantage of the wind, they went down with the long ball approach, and I think that's very difficult then, firstly, to control the ball as it hops off the surface, or even to take it out of the sky, and persisted with that a little bit, perhaps longer than they might have. And also moving the ball, do you know what I mean? Trying to move and progress the ball forward. On the couple of occasions that got right, there was a couple of wonderful points from Dannings in relation to that. But those are just a couple of areas maybe that there might be a little bit of frustration amongst the team in relation to, is getting that working on the day with the nerves and everything else.
Yeah, of course. And those are sort of factors that you can't really trained for. The element of, there was such a strong breeze yesterday, such a strong one. And then, as I said yesterday as well, do you go with the wind in the first half, or do you go against it and the fact that it might die down in the second half, or you might try and get a few points on the board and stay with it in the first half so that you have the advantage of the breeze? Those are factors that you can only decide on the day as well. And you mentioned the nerves as well. That's the first time some of those girls have stood on behind the Artane boys band, and walked around the pitch. And even that, the nerves are there, and, their families are cheering them on. There are a huge number of factors that you don't even think of. You're trying to get your game plan right on the day. So, but as you mentioned, when they did get up the field, and some of the passages of play was lovely to watch. And look, they did themselves very proud on the day. They'll probably be disappointed with the fact that they didn't get on the scoreboard in the second half, and probably should have. And another day, Denise would have put away that penalty as well. And maybe there would have been a little turning point in the game, But as I say, in 60 minutes of football, things go so many different ways.
Yeah. And there was a couple of, it's whataboutery a little bit too, but there was a couple of instances where there could have been 2 goals in the first half, which would have changed the complexion of the game altogether, because maybe they could have even set up, more defensive in the second half or whatever. There's so many variables, as you know yourself from having played the game, Maureen. There's little moments in games, isn't there, where things turn. You miss out on 3 points, the opposition go up and extend their lead to 4 or 5 points, and it's in those moments that things can slip away.
That is absolutely, Lauren McBride just shy of the post yesterday, and we all thought it was in, and it was a fantastic passage of play. The crowd were on their feet, and when the ball was being turned over by Downies, the crowd were on the feet. You wanted to hear the supporters. At one stage I thought, is there anybody here from the other side cheering? But that's just typical Donegal people. We really go out and force to support our players, and which is a brilliant thing as well. But as you say, things like that can change a game. And had Lauren McBride put that away at that stage, I'm sure she's saying to herself, if I only had to put it in the net. And you have these what ifs and what if moments. And I think that's the learning. Because when we lost in 2010, the All-Ireland semi-final, I remember there was a massive crowd in Termon that day, and we were just, it was something we couldn't come back from, and people were trying to console us as well. But like, it took us 4 years to get back from that.
Yeah.
You know, we probably never believed that we'd ever get back to that stage. But the one thing is, you do remember those heavy defeats, and they stay with you, but they also drive you on to be better, you know, to go out the next day, because you've learned from all the different mistakes that maybe happened on that day, and you don't want to do it again.
And the women's game, you know, needs more, like, you know, Dunloe going great. You mentioned Terman and what have you, and there's some other great teams. And, you know, Downings are up a level now. You know, there's 28 players, effectively 29 players in that squad, as far as I'm aware. And as you mentioned, many of them are younger. And also, I'd say there's some of the ladies that are a little bit older that, you know, you tug out again because, you know, when you want to help out your club, don't you? But they might want to prefer to be standing watching it in the sidelines, right? So there's an awful lot to be positive for going forward. And you know, the second best team in the country, an Ulster Cup in the bag as well, and 11 victories, just that one defeat. I'll take that. I'd take that if it were me.
Yeah, and I think when the players reflect, you know, and take that wee bit of time to reflect, you know, even the management and all, like, everybody else around the county and the club themselves are so proud of that achievement in itself. So it just take a wee bit of time for it to sink in, all of that. But like, just, you mentioned some of the good teams coming up in ladies football, and it's fantastic for the likes of maybe Terman and Glenfin at the top. But Downings, 2017, their ladies structure came together. Like, they you know, they played the in 2018, the Comhort to Spale in the Gaeltacht, and fantastically. I mean, the one county and I think all Ireland at that stage, and then maybe a few quiet years working behind the scenes and all those young players and development. And look now at what they've achieved this year. Like, and I know they're playing in junior football, but they're definitely they're a big contender for intermediate next year from what I've seen this year. Aoibhinn O'Connell will be back into that panel as well. I mean, and she was a huge miss as well. Had she been there, another factor yesterday, possibly it would have been a different day out for them as well. But like, just all I can say to the girls is just reflect back on the year that they've had. I think it's brilliant to see it within ladies football and Donegal. And, you know, one thing that'll stand them is the supporters that were there yesterday. Those are supporters that will remain with you now because of the year they have given them. And that's what a community and club is all about. They're waiting for those big days. And again, next year, I have no doubt they'll be winning cups if they keep continuing the way they're doing.
And what you see too is, Maureen, you know, the younger girls and fellas that did the Guard of Honour for the semi-final, they look on and they say, we want a piece of that. And that's how it works, isn't it? You know, that's how, you know, they're inspiring a new generation to come forward and say, I want to be up in Dublin with hundreds of people cheering me on as well. Listen, really enjoyed the commentary. Managed to get the timing perfect with the YouTube stream. I was very proud of myself. Maureen, thanks very much for that, and take care of yourself. I do appreciate you chatting to us.
Happy Christmas, okay?
Happy Christmas to you, Maureen, and yours. Thank you very much indeed, Maureen O'Donnell there. Morning, Greg. Well done to Downings on getting to a national final. They had a great year, 11 wins, 1 loss. But I know it's disappointing to get to a final and not win, but they will learn from this from all at Donegal and Ulster Community Games. Thanks, Greg. Thank you indeed. It's great when you can sort of go on a journey, especially when there's not much else happening football-wise and you want to see a game. I really enjoyed the trip. When Lauren hit that shot on goal, it seemed to hit a tuft of grass at the goalpost that put it wide. Yeah, it did seem to just, I'm not sure if it would have come back off the post, but there was other opportunities, and you have to give the opposition goalkeeper a bit of credit too. She intervened on a couple of crosses that in the past would have resulted in goals. So, but anyway, fantastic season for them, and we've just one big game left coming in January, I think. I'm struggling here. Brendan Devaney's retired for the year, so I'm trying to fill the gap here. But I think that's Niamh Podrick, isn't it, in January?
The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union. Digital loans now available. Apply online or via our app today and get your loan transferred directly to your current account.
Spoil someone with a beautiful fragrance this Christmas from McGee's Chemist Letterkenny. Choose by designer, budget or celebrity. Top names like Clarins, Burberry, Gucci and Dolce & Gabbana. Also great prices on Calvin Klein, Flower Bomb and so many more. The best fragrant gift sets available this year can also be found in McGee's Chemist Main Street Letterkenny and online at mcgees.ie. McGee's, where the best costs less.
Make it a Christmas party to remember at Dunnes Stores with 20% off a fantastic range of wine and champagne. And mix and match 3 for 2 on over 100 party food options. Whether you want crispy tempura prawns, elf bao buns, or a selection of indulgent cheeses. Whatever you want from your Christmas shop, you'll find it in our aisles, fridges and freezers. Plus, you can save again at the till with a 10 off 50 grocery voucher. Make Christmas for everyone with Dunnes Stores. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher can be used in the next grocery shop of €50 or more. Voucher excludes alcohol. Please drink sensibly.
At Screwfix, you can click and collect over 10,000 trade products in as little as 1 minute. So whether it's sockets and swords or radiators in Roscommon, when you need it yesterday, just click at screwfix.ie and collect at your local store 7 days a week. T's and C's apply. Visit screwfix.ie for full details.
Century Complex gift cards are the perfect gift this Christmas. Our gift cards can be used throughout the complex in Backstage Bar and Grill, Century Cinemas and Century Play. Available in store or online at Century Complex. Call us on 07491 21976 or check out our website centurycinemas.ie for more information.
Looking for the ultimate night out? Voodoo venue Letterkenny has you covered, with a late bar from Thursday through to Monday and great live entertainment. Every night at Voodoo is a party waiting to happen. Gather your crew and create unforgettable memories at Voodoo venue Letterkenny, where the weekend never ends.
Bridgend Bureau de Change is now open at Rafferty Circle K Station, Bridgend. For all your euro, sterling and dollars, contact Bridgend Bureau de Change at Circle K Bridgend. Planning cross-border shopping this Christmas? Call into Circle K Bridgend Bureau de Change for all your currency needs. Authorised and regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Shekelatha ama Highland Radio. Arna Dortugat ag Airgrid. Uproar agus forbor an go letrahas na Héireann. Airgrid. Pobl a guachtu, era a guachtu. Teshe.
The time now is 23 minutes past 11 and you are tuned to the 9 till noon show here on Highland Radio, and we're all very excited because it's time. It's time to give away some more cash. Fionnuala Rabbit, our CEO, is with us. Hi, Fionnuala.
Well, in body, if not necessarily in spirit, with cold again. I'm taking
that
all
is.
home remedies for colds if anybody wants to ring in and tell me how I finally knocked
Well, it
this
just
on the head.
improved there. You were like this and then you're back normal again.
I
Okay,
know.
brilliant stuff.
It's all over the place.
Right, okay, so we've 1,000 to give away today.
Yeah, absolutely. We
I
had a great week last week. Was all of the winners, which I love to see, were in, I'd say, an hour after they'd won the €1,000.
Yes.
And as I always say about this kind of money when we give this away, this is not money now that I want to see people saving. This is money that I
Spend
want
it.
to see people going cracked over the Christmas and enjoying themselves with.
Right,
Do
so
something you'd love to do with it.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. Spoil yourself.
Exactly.
So today we're giving away £1,000. David's given 1,000 on Tuesday. John Breslin is giving away 1,000 on Wednesday. Ivan Borland, Power Hour Plus on Thursday. And then Lee Gooch on Friday morning. And then this day, next week, we have the little matter of a €30,000 plus Toyota Cross worth over 30, Luna Cross actually, Yaris Cross Luna, worth over 30k.
Yes, absolutely. It's a beautiful
car.
car.
Is
If
it still
anybody-
down in the Letterkenny Shopping
It is
Centre?
still down the Letterkenny
Cool.
Shopping Centre, yeah. So if anybody wants to go and have a look at it, they can there, or obviously they can call into Kelly's. But it's a lovely car, really lovely crossover, beautiful.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay.
All right.
Fionnuala.
We're
Now,
ready?
we have done a lot of off-air rotating of this trombola,
All
but
right.
it really, at the end of the day, you're going to dig in anyway. So,
I'll go
exactly.
One
One
more.
more.
I can't help it. You know I love my
Okay.
car.
There we go.
Just
It's okay,
about that,
Sean.
is it? He's worried I'll knock it over.
He's afraid it's going to fall off the stand. It has, but you have made sure it's nice and safe.
God, absolutely.
Right, okay, so Fionnuala is digging in deep. She's looking at me. She's pulled out a ticket. Yes, here it is.
Here we go. It is 9598.
Ticket number 9598. Okay, take a seat, Fionnuala, there for a sec. We'll chuck that back in a moment.
Yeah.
So that person has now won €1,000.
Absolutely, and then they go back in the draw again. Don't be worried, anybody that's won the €1,000, you go straight back in again for the car draw next week.
Exactly. Right, okay, so we'll see if we can get a name to that. What's the story with the? I'll come back to the car in a second. The colouring competition. Are the lines are the entrance still open?
No, well, you
That's
have
done?
until we're giving it until tomorrow morning, just because
Okay.
with the post it can be a bit busy. So we're going to wait and see if anything comes in the post tomorrow, and that because today was supposed to be the cut-off day, really.
Aye.
So we'll leave it till the post tomorrow. So that's about like 10 or 11 o'clock. So get it into us before lunch tomorrow, and you'll be part of it. And then I need to knuckle down then and see. But I'm, in fairness, some amazing, once
Yeah,
again,
already.
some fabulous. Oh my God, there's one in there, and I don't know what the kid really put his imagination into it. It's amazing. So there's loads of fabulous pictures in it. So really looking forward to the next couple of days now when the rows start.
Yeah, for sure. And we've talked about it before. It's great fun, and it sort of brings Christmas home here when they're all laid out and everyone's having a
absolutely,
judge.
yeah.
And it's great fun, isn't it, Fionnuala? It's a lovely
Oh,
thing
it is.
to be
I love that
a
part
part
of it,
of.
just
So we've
seeing
got
it.
3 categories and loads of great prizes.
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
give
We've
away as
under
well.
12s, under 9s, and under 6s.
Yeah,
So
okay.
we have prizes and everything ready to go. So what we're hoping is that we'll have it all done then and announce them. I think on Friday is what we're talking about at
Okay.
the moment, and then they'll be here over the weekend and on Monday and Tuesday if anybody wants to come in.
Are you
and
going to do it
collect
with me on Friday or somewhere else? Or are you going to announce the winners on
them.
this
No,
show?
we'll do it with you. I think we'll
Okay,
go down
right.
and you're out
we're
and about.
We're
I
out
think.
and about. Yeah, we've a couple of gigs out and about between now and Christmas, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, so it'll be great.
And we had Sinead and Alec, her dad, out
Yeah.
today at Nazareth House. They're away to Buncrana on Wednesday. They're going to the Buncrana Community Hospital, McGinn Avenue, Buncrana. A wonderful bouquet of flowers were donated there, as well as €500 for the Comfort Fund, which is brilliant. That was in Nazareth House today. Then we're going to Buncrana Community Hospital on Wednesday, and then we're in the Archview Lodge Nursing Home on Thursday. And tomorrow we're at a school. I think it's a surprise at this point, so I'm
Yeah.
not going to divulge where that might be. So I love this part of the year. We have to,
Oh, I
of
know,
course,
it's great
keep up
fun.
to date with the current affairs and stuff, but it's still. 1 second now. I think I've got. Do I have Patricia on the phone with me? Hi, Patricia.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Great stuff. This is Greg here at Highland Radio. Are you well?
Oh, I am well, Greg.
Are you
yes.
listening?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you're actually listening on the radio.
No, I wasn't listening on the radio because I'll tell you what, I am just off my mobile phone and I turned the radio down.
So you didn't hear the fact that you are now you have €1,000 in your bank.
Oh, lovely.
Your number came out.
Brilliant.
And you've just won €1,000.
Oh, I'm so delighted for that, Greg.
Yeah,
Thank you
well
so
done.
much.
Congratulations. We'll get that to you before Christmas. You maybe call up for it. Whatever way, we'll sort it out, Patricia. But your number came out. It was number 9598, your lucky number, and you've just won £1,000.
Oh, brilliant. So fantastic. It couldn't come at a better time, Greg.
Excellent. And Fionnuala's given you spending advice. She just wants you to spend it. Fionnuala Rabbit's with me here, Patricia. She doesn't want you to bank it. You have to spend it, she says.
Buy yourself something nice, Patricia. That's what you need to do. Blow it all.
And I will do, Fionnuala.
Treat yourself.
I will do.
Treat yourself to something nice now in the January sales.
I always find it interesting to ask the question when you bought your ticket, Patricia.
I bought it online back about, I'll tell you, the day that was announced when you had to buy the ticket to be in each draw.
Oh, well, there you go. And you took the advice, and here we are. You didn't even think about it, and here we are a couple of weeks later, and you've got €1,000 in your pocket.
Yes, and I was 5 minutes late, and I thought, I won't be in it now for all the... I was 5 minutes late in getting it done.
No, we would always, as much as we can, help out. Don't worry about that, Patricia. Listen, fantastic stuff. Congratulations. You've won €1,000. Your ticket's now going back into the draw drum, and Fionnuala's just popped it back in, and it could come out again. We simply don't know, but you've got €1,000 went away, Patricia. Thank you so much for listening. It's great to have you as a listener, and also thanks for entering, and have fun with your money.
Thank you so much for that, Greg.
Bye-bye, Patricia.
And thanks,
Well done.
Fionnuala.
Your phone will be
Bye.
going again now, by the way. People congratulating you, so you may switch the radio off again.
It will indeed. It will indeed.
All right. Bye-bye, Patricia. That's
Thank you.
Patricia
Bye.
Clark of Ballindrate, and her ticket is back in Fionnuala's Trombola, which is all very good, isn't it? All right, great stuff, isn't
Absolutely.
it? I love it. I love that.
Oh, no, I love this week. It's always really good. It kind of brings a Christmas feeling around because It's tough. Well, you're all lucky now. You've got Hudson, so you've got a young one in the house for the Christmas. But sometimes for the rest of us, it can be a bit hard to get that Christmas spirit going. But it always comes here to Highland this week when we're out and about.
Well, I say to the kids, like, this, I'm in the vibe now. You either jump up on my vibe train or not. I don't care if you're 4. I don't care if you're 18 or 21. I'm enjoying Christmas. Get on board with it.
Oh, I know. And it was lovely to go out to Fawn because, you know, I'm connected to the Nazareth sisters with my aunt down in Sligo. She's 70 years. We celebrated there in November in the Nazareths. So it was lovely to go up to Fawn today.
Right,
and they had a great time,
So that was the weekend of the award ceremony, wasn't it, too? Yeah, it was. I know it was.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was.
The 23rd, yeah.
All right,
weekend of the big
stuff.
storm.
Okay, so that number's back in. So we've done all that paperwork. Thanks, Patricia, for answering the phone. You don't have to, but it's lovely. Patricia had won that grand anyway, but it's lovely to have a chat and interact with our listeners and touch base, which is fantastic. Fionnuala, thank you so very much indeed. And I'll chat to you on Friday.
Absolutely.
Brilliant, if not before, of course. So that's Fionnuala Rabbit there. And well done again to Patricia Clark in Ballindrate, who's won €1,000. Her ticket is back in the Trombola, and the lines are back open again. We still have 5 draws to go, 4 1Ks, and a car. It's a beautiful Toyota Yaris Cross Luna. It's worth over €30,000. Thank you very much. I wouldn't mind that.
Watch the show live now on YouTube, Facebook and at highlandradio.com. The 9 till noon show is brought to you by Letterkenny Credit Union with monster loans available up to €60,000 for all occasions. Visit letterkennycu.ie.
For Christmas, a sweater from Columbia, a North Face t-shirt or a waterproof Helly Hansen jacket. See all these and many more great present ideas at Call of the Wild in Letterkenny. Great clothing and equipment from top names including Patagonia, Low Alpine, Oakley and Kathmandu. Everything from walking boots to water bottles. And if you're not sure, there's always a gift card at Call of the Wild, Main Street, Letterkenny, just opposite McGee's. See callofthewild.ie.
At Centra, we've got amazing Christmas simple savers from now until the big man arrives. Like Pringles 165 gram, 175 each. Coca-Cola 2 litre range, €2 each plus deposit. And Chateauneuf de Pape Remy Ferbra, only €15. Perfect for Christmas. Centra. Live every day. Enjoy alcohol sensibly.
Introducing Flow for Men, my new fragrance collection of products created to keep you feeling fresh and looking sharp. The ideal gift for the man in your life. Find Flow in pharmacies nationwide or online at flowbybo.com. Start every day with confidence.
Here at Braden's House to Home Interiors, Moville and Bridgend, we stock recliner and fabric suites, dining tables and chairs, beds and mattresses, curtains and rugs, and don't forget our large flooring department stocking carpet, vinyl and laminate flooring. We can't be beaten on price or quality and give a weekly delivery service to Donegal, Derry and Strabane, not to be matched. So call on today to Braden's House to Home Interiors, Moville or Bridgend for all your home furnishing needs.
A public interest message from Donegal County Council. In the recent Air Quality in Ireland 2023 report, the EPA indicated that while air quality is generally good, EPA monitoring stations show that fine particulate matter, mainly from burning solid fuel, continues to present a threat to good air quality in some areas. Donegal County Council is actively monitoring the quality of solid fuels, particularly coal-based products and firewood, for sale across the county to ensure they meet the current regulations. You can make a difference over the winter burning season by only buying and using compliant fuels and not burning waste such as plastics which can be recycled. Donegal County Council, protecting your environment.
Now, in studio with me is Detective Inspector Siobhan Mullihan, who's of the Donegal Garda Divisional Protective Services Unit based out of Letterkenny Garda Station. Siobhan, thank you so much for joining us. I really do appreciate it.
Good morning, Greg.
And the reason we were keen to talk about this was a contact, and we're going to talk broadly about connected issues, but we were contacted by a grandmother whose 14-year-old granddaughter was very distressed because someone had used artificial intelligence to place her head on a nude body, to the point whereby it looked as if it were, I'm told by the grandmother, it looked as if it were a legitimate image. Now, that opens up a whole can of worms, doesn't it? Firstly, it's incredibly distressing. But secondly, do you explain it's not you? What do you do next? Is it a crime? And all those types of questions. And unfortunately, we're probably going to see much more of this going forward, Siobhan, with access to AI becoming, easier for all. So what is the situation if someone creates a despicable image like that?
Yes, so I suppose since 2020, the end of 2020, legislation was brought in Ireland under the Harmful Communications, Harassment and Related Offences Act. And that criminalised sharing of intimate images of persons. And for example, your listener there as well, that could be if it involves an image that has been doctored to show naked person. It could actually be child sexual abuse imagery, which also under the legislation is termed child pornography, and that is a very serious criminal offence to share, to create it, to distribute it, and we on Garda Síochána take that very, very seriously. Yeah.
So even though the nude, intimate element of that picture is not the girl in question, it's still treated as such?
Yes, it's depicting a child, and for a child under 18 to be depicted in such a manner, it actually is child pornography.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
As the legislation states it. I know there are efforts to try and change that phraseology, child abuse images, and people are often aghast when they see an article and go, it's not pornography. But unfortunately, at the moment, that's the way the legislation describes it, so that's the correct terminology that's used.
Yeah. And that's under the 1998 Act. So the new Act then in 2020 is in relation to the sharing of intimate images. And so that is where an image is shared of a person without their consent. And I suppose it's a form of sexual violence as well. And it's often a feature of domestic abuse relationships, or it's also a feature of peer bullying and harassment as well, which is a significant problem in Ireland and in Donegal as well. But the offences created in the 2020 Act relate to recording, distribution and publication of intimate images without consent, or even the threat to distribute them as well.
That's critical, because there is quite an impactful advert that's running at the moment. I think it's a young fella calling his mum from the Garda station or wherever it might be and say, look, I didn't do anything wrong. I only says I would send it. I didn't send it, or whatever it might be. So threatening to do what we're talking about is also seen as a crime.
Yeah, it's a really serious crime, and that's Section 2. And on conviction, on indictment, there's a penalty of up to 7 years imprisonment for that crime. And I suppose it's showing an image of what is or what purports to be a person's genitals, buttocks or anal region, and in the case of a female, her breasts, or even when it's covered by underwear. So that is, and that includes an AI generated image, or even sometimes, Greg, photoshopped images as well. It's the same thing. Whether it is a person and their face is used or purporting to be them.
Okay, so that's intimate image abuse, sexual coercion, which you referenced, child sexual abuse imagery, and online harassment. Now, Coco's Law, is it under Coco's Law that a lot of these offences are, or all of these offences are dealt with as you've been outlining, but just to give us a bit more information into that law?
Yeah, so it was named Coco's Law after a campaign by Miss Jackie Fox, who was the mother of the late Nicole Fox, who died by suicide in 2018 following online bullying on social media. So far this year in Donegal, we've had 21 reports under the Harmful Communications Act, which we're actively investigating. And I suppose that compares nationally with over 600 reports this year so far. Last year there would have been 9 reports. So it is increasing. I think the awareness of the law has increased since it came in late 2020, and people are reporting it.
How important is it to report? Because conversations like this, Siobhan, are going to perhaps raise awareness. But I think the more we actually see issues reported, the more that they pass through the courts where necessary, then what happens is the awareness of this is a no-no. And we hope then that reduces these instances. So it is important, isn't it, that we get the awareness out there, but it is probably going to lead to, through conversations like this and others, efforts of Garda Síochána, to more reports of it. But that's, in a way, it's terrible that people find themselves in this situation, but the more that it's reported, the better.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I do know that by September there was over 100 cases in the courts all over Ireland, so I would imagine that will continue to increase. It is a significant problem for young people, where someone is tricked sometimes as well into sharing a naked image of themselves on social media, or sharing it with somebody that they trust, and then that they share it again, or they threaten to share it again. I suppose it's a form of blackmail, but it is taken very, very seriously. And we would urge that people will report it to An Garda Síochána. But there are other support services as well available. And I suppose the main advice I would have for parents or victims is to have an active role in monitoring their social media and their access to it, and I suppose keep open lines of communication with the teenagers and young adults, because peer bullying is such a problem. And the practical steps really would be to take screenshots of any conversations, harmful conversations, to block the accounts that are sending the harmful content, and report it to the platform provider as well that they're using. But I suppose anybody that has experienced this can seek advice or make a confidential report to An Garda Síochána. I would advise there is a really useful website, webwise.ie, and that's the Irish Internet Safety Awareness Centre. It provides information and advice and resources for teachers, for parents and for young people, and actually explains all the latest apps and social networks that children are using. As well as that, there is a facility called hotline.ie, and it works quite closely with An Garda Síochána. So if an image of you has been posted online, or somebody you know, or it's been shared in message groups, you can actually make a digital report, and you simply fill in a form and upload it to hotline.ie, and they work with all the internet service providers to remove that content, not just in Ireland but internationally as well. The reports are treated anonymously, but if it does contain illegal content or child sexual abuse imagery, they have to report it to An Garda Síochána mandatorily. So, but there are other facilities as well. There's another one called Take It Down, which is necmec.org, ncmec.org, and that's for under 18s. So it's a free service that removes nude, partially nude or sexually explicit images or videos of under 18-year-olds. And I suppose it gives the victim back control to remove that content.
Just before you go on there, just back to a couple of situations. Unfortunately, there are people out there now with the way social media is, that there can be a bit of victim blaming. Okay, so I just want to reference specifically if someone sends an image. So even say. Just some scenarios. So say a 15-year-old boy or girl sent an intimate image to somebody else, right? And that person might say, well, you sent it to me, so I now own it. And this applies to adults as well. I'm just trying to touch on the younger side of it to empower mums and dads and granny and granddads to have the conversation with the young ones. So if someone took a picture of themselves, an intimate picture, and they send it on, and they are threatened with that to be shared or what have you, or I'll put it up on the internet, or I'll send it to my friends. Just even if they sent it, that is still a crime. They're being threatened, and the person who's doing that is committing really quite a serious crime there.
Yeah, no, it certainly is a crime. I mean, the person that shared it, they shared it with their consent initially, but they don't give consent for it to be shared otherwise, or even the threat to share it. I mean, that is definitely a control and a power issue, so definitely it is a crime.
Yeah, and also too, I want to reference particular cases because maybe as difficult it is for anyone to speak out, maybe for males it might be even a little bit more difficult, I don't know. But I've heard of cases, and we've been contacted and spoke to people on this programme who someone purporting to be a girl or a fella, depending on their sexual orientation, sent them a picture that wasn't of them to elicit a picture back. And once they've received that picture, they think they're sending it on Snapchat, maybe flirting or whatever they want to do. Then at that point, then blackmail starts. Now, some people will react in different ways. Someone might say, forget that, I don't care. Others might go to the guards. My concern is, and particularly for young lads and young girls, is that they might internalise it, right? And they might fear what it might mean for them, their jobs, their place in school, or their place in the family. Again, those people need to be empowered, I think, to come forward, because the guards are very sensitive to this. They understand this. And again, they are the victims of a crime potentially, and need to, I think, make the authorities known.
Yeah, unfortunately it is very common, and particularly we see where AI can be used to create those fake accounts and fake profiles of persons, and then used once they request a nude photograph, and then they'll maybe look for a sum of money and threaten them then that they're going to share the image with their contacts or share it widely over the internet. That is a common problem, and as you said, there is a particular shame, unfortunately, for people coming forward, but I would say to them, do not be afraid. Like, you definitely will be treated sensitively.
You're the victim.
Yeah, absolutely.
Victim,
and we will give advice, and even if they don't want to make a formal Garda complaint, give them advice on how to take down the image, and we'll make inquiries and we'll report the page that is causing the problem to the platform provider.
Now, you heard Detective Inspector Siobhan Mullihan, is that correct?
That's correct.
Mullihan give out a number of website addresses and what have you. We're going to link them on our social media as well, because there's some very useful ones. Victimscharter.ie. Sorry, we'll get to the support services in a moment, but ncmec.org, take it down. And also Stop Non-Consensual Intimate Image Abuse. That's stopncii.org. These are very useful. Hotline.ie was also mentioned. These are very useful tools for parents to have. And I think you made a really interesting point, Siobhan, in that we need to, and many of us do and need to do more, is create an environment, I think, where even if a young person feels that they've done something they shouldn't have, let's say, for instance, share an image, or maybe they're afraid to explain that I didn't, but it was AI, and when you're explaining, you're losing, that sort of a thing. I think it's really important that we have lines of communications open with people, isn't it? So they feel there is a safe, non-judgmental space where they can say, look, Mom, look, Dad, this is happening to me in my life. Please help me.
I think we need to ask the young people, what they're accessing and who they're talking to online, and to be careful, and that the person they think they're talking to may not be who they say they are. And just, keep an open mind and don't be judging the young person. They can get into difficulty not through their own making, and it's things they don't understand. But as I said, that webwise.ie is really, really useful for parents as well, just to explain what people are looking at and using online.
And as well as that too, we need to inform our young people and our older people of the fact that it's a crime, right? Because I think that's what that purpose of that interview, that advert I referenced earlier on, the man in question, he actually doesn't believe he's committed a crime until such time as it's going to come home to roost very, very quickly. So we have to empower people to know what you can and can't do too, if common sense is not there. When there's an international element to it, Siobhan, what is the story there, right? So, the image could have been, maybe you sent it to someone you were, I don't know, had an online relationship with in a different country or something along those lines. Do we work well inter-country in relation to this?
Yeah, so I mentioned NECMEC there, and that's the National Centre for Missing and Exploited Children, and they operate a cyber tip line as well, and that's where people all over the world report harmful content on the internet, especially child sexual abuse imagery, and they work with law enforcement in every country, including Ireland, and they notify us, and we regularly get reports filtered down from our National Bureau to go and investigate where harmful content has been uploaded or downloaded locally. So it's very good service there, and certainly there is lots of information online in relation to it.
Yeah, and the support services there are, again, one of the things that troubles me most when people, and when something like this happens, it can feel like the floor is fallen from beneath you. But there are lots of organisations that are there to help, isn't there? Not least on Garda Síochána, Siobhan, when there's a criminal element to it, but some people may not want to progress it that way, but they still potentially need support.
Yeah, and I'd urge them to come forward in that, and use the Garda Confidential line as well if they want, 1800 666 111, or find your local Garda station on the www.garda.ie, and I suppose if it's an emergency, 999 or 112.
Yeah. You've got the Donegal Domestic Violence Services here based in Donegal as well. We have those contact details here, donegalrapecrisis.ie, the victimscharter.ie too, that's the National Sexual Violence Helpline, the Donegal Sexual Abuse and Rape Crisis Centre as well, 1800 448844, and that directs you locally, and donegalrapecrisis.ie, I think I did mention that, and on Garda Síochána are there as well. So just to recap once again, Siobhan, did you say there's 21
reports so far, this year.
For what kind of cases is exactly what we've been talking about?
Exactly, yeah. Peer-to-peer as well, bullying and sharing. We would get a lot of reports through the schools of where certain images have been shared to different people and parents reporting it as well. So far 21, and that's an increase on last year. So
right, okay. But awareness or more of it happening, it's that usual. It's normally a mix, isn't it? But I think awareness is I'm not sure if your area if your area of responsibility goes beyond. Is it a crime to put up a video of a private disagreement between myself and someone else, which was recorded without my knowledge? So I presume that's, say, me and you were having a row back and forth. Someone sneakily recorded it, and they're threatening to put that online. That's a conversation. It's not an image as such.
Yeah, I think unless it has a a sexual content, or it's explicit in some way, or as I said, if it's a naked image or something like that. If it's a private dispute, I would say it's a civil matter.
Mm-hmm. Of course, and then that could mean there could be libel there, or slander, or whatever the correct terminology is. Detective Inspector Siobhan Mullihan, is there anything that you think important to add before we wrap it up? I hope it's been really useful and reassuring for guardians out there. But anything else you want to say just before we say goodbye?
Just to say thanks very much for giving me the opportunity to talk about it, Greg. It is a real issue, and for people to be aware of it. And I would say for victims of sexual violence and domestic abuse over the Christmas as well, not to suffer in silence and report. And if you need advice or help, ring your local Garda station or any of the support services. And other than that, just wish you, Greg, and your listeners a very happy Christmas.
Brilliant. And I've spoken to many of the team involved in that, and they go above and beyond to try and work with the victims and follow up and check up. And we've made great strides, I think, in recent years, particularly I think in Donegal, but not exclusively. A very happy Christmas and peaceful New Year to you, Detective Inspector Siobhan Mullihan. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Greg.
The 9 till noon show with Letterkenny Credit Union, now offering mortgages from 40,000 to 600,000 euro with no hidden fees or transaction charges. Letterkenny Credit Union, 9102127.
This Christmas, surprise your loved ones with fashion from Evolve Clothing Letterkenny Retail Park. Shop brands like Tommy Hilfiger, Adidas, Carhartt, Levi's and Farah. Open 7 days. The Evolve gift card, your perfect Christmas present.
That magical time of year once more, with mince pies and pudding and treats galore, taking pride of place by the twinkling tree. All you need to know about the season's TV. A world of entertainment wrapped up inside. Christmas begins with the RTE Guide.
Do you need a little extra help staying in your home? At Bluebird Care, we offer a wide variety of QMark approved personalised home care services across Donegal. And our fully trained and committed staff will always meet your care needs with kindness, compassion and dignity. To get your personal home care assessment plan, visit bluebirdcare.ie or call our care team today on 07491 29562 and bring care home.
At Uisce Éireann, we're continuing to upgrade Ireland's water network to ensure a clean, safe and reliable water supply. When repair and maintenance work is required in your area, we want to make sure homes and businesses are informed. That's why we have a new free text alert service providing real-time updates for issues lasting more than 4 hours. Sign up with your mobile number and air code at water.ie. Uisce Éireann, delivering water services for Ireland.
Carrickdon Buncrana, the destination store for fabulous fashion, gifting and Christmas, would like to wish all our customers a very happy Christmas and New Year. Thank you for your support and custom, and we can't wait to bring you more in 2025. Visit Carrickdon this Christmas or shop online at carrickdon.com.
Aya, Cockhill Celtic and Carrandonna football clubs present their grand draw where someone will win €200,000 on New Year's Day. Tickets are €100 and the draw is limited to 8,000 tickets. To get a full list of prizes or purchase your ticket, go to www.200kfornewyearsday.com. Alternatively, contact a club member or call into a local shop.
Highland Radio weather updates with McElhenney's. Find the perfect present for everyone on your list this festive season. Discover the joy of gifting and make Christmas magical with McElhenney's Ballybuffet. Visit us in-store or online at mcelhenneys.com.
Okay, so a mix of sunny spells and scattered showers today. Highest temperatures of 9 to 11 degrees and moderate locally and fresh and gusty southwest winds. Winds will be strong at times near the west and north coast. Becoming largely dry as showers die out with clear spells at first tonight. Cloud will increase from the west overnight, lowest temperatures of 6 to 8 degrees in moderate to fresh southerly winds. All right, okay, so thanks very much to Detective Inspector Siobhan Molahan there of the Donegal Garda Divisional Protective Services Unit. Just one other helpline I wanted to read out to you. It's the male advice line, and people, men or women, can be the victims of this type of crime. And sometimes, from the stories I've had too, sometimes men are not as good at dealing with it as women are, or vice versa. Listen, it's not about gender at this stage. But the male advice line is 1-800-816-588. And I suppose us as guardians and grandparents and aunts and uncles, if a young one came to that, our reaction could be like, oh, what's going on? What did you do? And I suppose part of that conversation, and it's for me as well, I'm taking this on board, I'm not being preachy, is to say that, right, we need to be there and make sure that our girls and boys have they feel it's safe for them to say to us, look, Mum, look, Dad, someone's made an image of me, or there may be an image circulating of me because, I sent an image to someone. And it can be so distressing for them, and it's, I suppose, give them an outlet that they can talk to us about it. Right, so I think that's all covered. We had a lovely time today with the serious stuff in there as well, but the lovely trip we had to Nazareth House in Fawn. We're out at a school tomorrow. I can't reveal too much more about that, but Lee Gooch will be hooking in, and I'm looking forward to that. On Wednesday, we're at Buncrana Community Hospital. On Thursday, we're at Archview Lodge Nursing Home, and we're out and about on Friday as well, and I think Monday or Tuesday next week as well. So it's all very exciting.